I think this is the best soundtrack that I've ever heard in the last, 15, 20 years.
I'm telling you, man, the best is yet to come. This is great. Don't get me wrong. This is insane, but the best is yet to come. Soken is still able to think about the game first and puts writing music that sounds cool and impressive second. He does that, but it's not his main concern. And that's what I mean when I say he's a very kind composer. There's very little ego involved. And one person may think, oh, the mixing is not the way I like it. No, it's mixed this way so you don't go crazy. Bosses in Final Fantasy XIV, like Titan, you're in there for 30 minutes, sometimes 1 hour. MMORPGs are basically like a world in themselves, right? If you play them long enough, they really feel like a city that you've been in. And when I heard the Gridania theme, I was like, damn, this is my national anthem.
How am I just now listening to this music? It's wild that this open secret has just been sitting there this whole time. I gotta play this game now. I really do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the State of the Arc podcast. My name is Mike.
My name is Casen.
And I am thrilled today to announce our special guest for this episode of the music of Final Fantasy, Alex McCullough.
Hello, everybody. Hi, guys. Hi, Casen. Hi, Mike. It's amazing to be here with you guys. Huge fan of your podcast, especially the music episodes, and huge fan of Final Fantasy XIV, as many people know. It's basically my second home. So yeah, I'm really down to talk about this amazing soundtrack with you guys. And I know you made an episode on the 14 1.0 music. I didn't play 1.0 that much, so I discovered a lot of new things from that episode. So thank you for making it.
Oh, you're welcome. And seriously, thank you for joining us. I had been watching your channel for a long time. I know that you have done an interview with Soken in the past.
Oh, really? Oh,
so I'm looking forward to getting your insight on some of the notes that I have for the background on his career and stuff and what you can add to that. But also just your love of Final Fantasy XIV as a whole, I think is going to be really key here. So just so everybody who's watching this is aware, I have played the base game, A Realm Reborn.
Okay.
I have not played Heaven's Ward and Beyond as far as the expansions go.
Right.
And we were originally thinking, kind of like we did with Final Fantasy XI, we'll cover the expansions with the base game, but it's so much music. And also, because I want to play those expansions, I think it's a good idea that we cover A Realm Reborn in this episode and come back to those in another one after I've had a chance to get through some of them.
I see.
So I think it's better once you've at least experienced the game and kind of know in context where the music is and you kind of talk about it a little bit.
I felt that with these episodes for the few games that I had not yet played.
Right.
It's I don't know where this fit. And I even have a few, one of my notes here is yes. When does this play? And then my note for the song before it, when does this song play? And that's just, that's what I'm wondering when I'm hearing a lot of this stuff. And it'd be nice to have the context. At the same time, though, it's also nice to in a different way to step in without any preconceived ideas and just listen to the music as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, as a game composer myself, that's my main job. I think it's very refreshing when people talk about the music that you may have composed for a game without having the concept or the notion of how does this fit in the context. Because at that point, you're responding to the music purely from how it hits you as a piece of music. And there's this whole category of people making YouTube videos, reactions to video game music. I make those as well. And people find that fascinating because they're I wonder how, often they're gamers who play the game and they're I wonder how someone who doesn't have an idea of this game is going to resonate to the tracks. So I think there's value in also just listening to it without context, but it's also great to know how a track fit in a certain scene. And that's why I'm here today. I can help you guys with that for any tracks that maybe you haven't gotten to see Mike in the game. Did you play the entirety of A Realm Reborn? Even the patches after the ending?
So I meant to respond to your email about this because I actually had listened to a few of the tracks that you were talking about that are in the patches that go beyond the base game and lead into Heaven's Ward. But my notes got mixed around and I was losing which track numbers were the correct track numbers. And I meant to get that all in order today, but I had kind of a last minute thing at work I had to do. And so I didn't have time, but I have gotten all the way up to basically, if I were to renew my subscription today, I could walk into Heaven's Ward basically from where I'm at. I just like boot it up and start. So I have gotten through all that patch content. And in particular, there's a really, really, really crazy scene at the end of it. That's really, really good. And so I was wondering if maybe you were referencing the music from that scene or some of the other. You did mention the one, the Ramu, what is it, Thunder Rolls
Thunder
or something,
Rolls.
which is a great piece. So I definitely want to talk about that.
Dude, I have so many things that I'd like to talk about with you guys.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Let's begin by talking a little bit about Masayoshi Soken. We kind of touched on him a little bit in the Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 episode.
Yeah, he did
terms
some
of
tracks.
yeah, because he was like a sound engineer, sound director on that game, just for like the general sound, like sound design kind of thing. And he contributed some tracks to it. But we haven't gotten to talk more in depth about his career. And I want to do that because that's what we've done for all the other Final Fantasy composers outside of Uematsu, whether that's Hamauzu on 13, Sakimoto on Final Fantasy 12, and things like that. So I was looking into his career a little bit here. And I was really, it's really interesting to kind of follow his career path to becoming like a full-time composer on a big like franchise like this. It's almost the total opposite of Uematsu. Soken didn't even study music in college or anything. He was born into a musical family.
Right.
So his father and mother, I think his mother taught him piano at a young age, and his father was a musician.
Soken's father played trumpet in really prestigious orchestras in Japan, and he even recorded on Dragon Quest.
Oh, no way.
Dragon Quest. I didn't know
That's
that.
cool.
Which Dragon Quest game was it? Do you remember?
I'm not sure which one it was, to be honest with you. I didn't look into which one exactly, but he did, work there.
Yeah, I'm going to think that
on
Dragon Quest uses a lot of that brass for that big blaring sound. I'm going to think of Soken's father each time I hear that.
And Soken plays trumpet as well. And I think that's, because probably his father taught him. Like there's a theme, I think in Heaven's Sword, which is called Metal Brute Justice. And it has this really very bold trumpet in the intro. And he plays that live when he plays it at concerts.
Oh, cool. That's
awesome.
It's pretty hype.
That's awesome.
So cool.
That's really cool. So yeah, he's born into a musical family, obviously learned how to play instruments, was a musician himself, but he actually studied chemistry in college and was not necessarily going in that direction as a career. But then he ended up in he joined Square in 1998, but his career in audio design for games was much earlier than that. He joined Konami first.
Oh, right.
And so he did a couple games like Evil Knight and some stuff in the kind of late 80s. But he ended up coming over to Square in 1998, where for the most part, he was just doing that kind of audio engineering sort of work. And he did that for a lot of games, and then had a couple projects come in where they wanted him to contribute some tracks. I think he did some commercials for Square, kind of in those early 2000s range. And then, kind of worked his way up until he was doing audio on Final Fantasy XIV.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you about this, Alex, because in your interview with Soken, he said that his interview at Square was conducted by Uematsu, isn't that right?
Uematsu. Yeah, he did say that. By the way, I happen to I've interviewed him a couple times, Soken. I even went with him for dinner once in London, and we played, he invited me and my friend Husky by the Geek to play music live with the Primals at the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest. We did one song together. It was amazing. So we had multiple opportunities to just chat and talk. And Soken, pretty much the way you see him talk online, how he's very animated and everything, that's really how he is as a person. And this story about the job interview, he said during our interview that he got late at the job interview with Uematsu, and Uematsu was just laughing. And I guess it really took a liking to him, and he got hired, and then he started working at Square. And you're right in the fact that him and Uematsu are very different. They're both kind of self-taught, I guess. Uematsu was way more self-taught because he didn't have a teacher. Soken's parents were musical, so I guess he must have got a teaching there. But the difference is that, the music they grew up listening to is very different. They both love rock music a lot, but Soken's rock music taste is much more, I guess, like,
would you call it grunge? It's like grunge rock. Or
dude, there's some, like, later on in the Final Fantasy XIV series, as you go through them, you're gonna hear some main themes that are basically grunge. They start with grunge guitar chords that you would only hear in grunge music. Really weird chords that is like, oh, even the sound of the guitars is like, yeah, it's definitely grunge in there. I think his favorite band is Rage Against the Machine, which is not necessarily grunge, I would say, but the energy within their music, you can really feel it in Soken's music as well. And when we were together at dinner in London, we were talking about music, and I asked him about what his favorite, like, deep cut band is. And he mentioned a band called Suspended Fourth, which is a band from Japan. They have a song called Stratocaster Seaside or something, Stratocaster Summer, something Stratocaster. And if you listen to that song, you're gonna hear, like, oh, this is really the kind of music that Soken is into, like really intense rock music that has a lot of character and has a lot of incredible harmony to it as well. Uematsu's music taste is also formidable and very rooted in rock, but his is more rooted in, like, the 70s, 60s prog rock from, Genesis and Yes and, all those bands, and also like a slew of Italian prog rock bands like Premiata Forneria Marconi is one of the favorite bands from Uematsu, but Soken his taste is a bit more modern, I suppose. But most especially, like, I think Soken has an approach to sound that is underrated. Like, as we go through the tracks in Final Fantasy XIV, you're going to notice, like, oh, like, he's using a reverse delay on the piano to create a certain vibe, or he's using, like, there's the track Thunder Roll. The reason why I want to talk about that track is that Soken uses the hi-hat, like the drum hi-hat, almost like a melodic instrument in that track. It's crazy. So he sees, like, he loves music and he writes really great tunes, amazing melodies, but, like, there's this sound quality that he adds to his music where he asks himself, how can I use this sound to create a vibe rather than just using whatever instrument to carry a melody? He's just thinking about sound because he spent so many years doing sound design. Uematsu also did sound design for the earliest Final Fantasy games, I think, but that was a different era. And so it was a completely different methodology compared to now. So what I'm trying to say is that Soken's music sounds quite unique, and he makes choices that sometimes are made for the sake of gameplay. That's one thing he has in common with Uematsu. I think Uematsu and Soken are both composers, which I personally call kind, in the sense that when they sit down to write music, they're not just thinking about expressing themselves. They're also thinking about the players and how they're going to perceive the music. They're thinking about the game designers and thinking about how to best serve the game. So there's many choices, sometimes maybe even controversial choices that Soken makes in his music that maybe as a listener you won't fully understand them at first. But when you think about them in terms of game design, you're like, oh, I get why he, filters the vocals like that in boss themes and stuff. And we're going to talk about all that today. So they do have some things in common, but also, like, they couldn't be any more different in other respects.
I took a couple of quotes from Soken about this in particular. I thought it was a really interesting thing that he identifies as his approach to music is driven by his sound design sort of, like, career and past and
that
experience.
Cool. That is interesting.
He thinks about that first in terms of how he writes the music. So he says here, when I first came to Square, my main responsibilities focused on sound effect creation, sound schematic designs, and other sound engineering work. Generally, multiple people would handle those things, but I really wanted to achieve something specific with my ideal sound. So I enjoyed doing these tasks alone. At the same time, bringing closure to the original game, he's talking about 1.0, Final Fantasy 1.0 at this point, to the original game and creating a brand new sound for A Realm Reborn was a very exciting prospect. We had to create music that would help clear any stigma associated with the original while also crafting a sound with not only a completely new image, but also a traditional Final Fantasy game vibe, or just traditional fantasy game vibe. I remember racking my brains quite hard during this process. He also says that shortly after joining the company, I began to oversee small to mid-scale sound projects for our titles. I was often asked to create musical tracks as well, so I would compose music for these projects on the side. I was eventually assigned to supervise sound on Final Fantasy XIV and then took over composing on A Realm Reborn. And then down here, in creating my music, my sole focus is to implement sounds that make for the best gameplay experience. I take each player's gameplay experience very seriously, as I am a gamer too. All of the sound production that I work on begins by asking myself, what can I do with this sound in order to enrich the gameplay experience? Being a game creator, there's no doubt that I find it most fulfilling when I'm able to create music that matches the gameplay experience perfectly. So, obviously, Uematsu was a game designer too, and we're not here to say that like he didn't understand these things, but Soken has like a very particular focus on that aspect while writing his music.
And in the modern era, it's just different. The sounds that you get now versus from the SNES or PS1,
right?
It's quite different. In order to kind of understand the importance of, because it may sound like not that big a deal. It's like, oh, sound. It's not that different for him to be a sound designer to move to a composer. Watching the behind the scenes for Star Wars Episode 3, there's a moment where George Lucas is sitting down with his sound designer, who's like the best ever, like this really famous sound designer, and John Williams, the composer. I can't remember their names, but I know John Williams. I can't remember the composer or the sound designer's name. But he sits down for the final cut of the movie. And George Lucas is in the middle, and he's got both people on the side, and they're each arguing about which sound should take preeminence. The music of the scene, and John Williams is like, I think the music should be front and center. And then the sound designer's like, no, then you're missing the battle sounds and the explosions and all the cool work I did here. So that needs to be louder. And George Lucas is kind of in the middle, like, I see both your points. Let's split it down the middle or whatever. But basically, there can be tons of conflict within the soundscape between the typical sound engineer or, and then the composer, right? And to have somebody who's got a background in both and who understands kind of that balance to then move in to, to have a sound engineer, sound designer move into composing in the modern era where the sounds are a lot more, high fidelity, it's a bigger deal than it was maybe in the 80s and 90s where it's like, well, you're the musician, just do sound as well.
This also happens a lot. Like there's lots of composers who make their way into the industry by first being sound designers and then, becoming composers. Very similar to the way Soken did it. Sometimes there's more demand for sound designers than composers. But this is a very good point. Yeah, this is a very good point you bring, because that also is what makes Final Fantasy XIV's music sound the way it does. Is that the lead sound, the sound guy is also lead composer, right? So those internal conflicts are just between himself.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
It's the two hemispheres of his brain instead of, different people.
But they work together. And Uematsu, he did great as well. Like the staggering thing is this. So an example of how Uematsu is an amazing game designer other than composer is One Winged Angel. I don't know if you guys know the story of how he tried to basically he recorded the choir, and then he took the recordings, instead of placing them straight like that on the PlayStation 1, he compressed them to bits, reducing their quality a bit, but basically making sure that as soon as the fight starts, the track begins. It doesn't have to load, right? He compressed the size. The audio quality suffered, but the moment you face Sephiroth, the music starts. And so it was perfectly optimized for the sake of making that moment hit. And then apparently the game designers didn't optimize the fight as well. So when you fought Sephiroth, there was a big loading screen black loading screen for a few seconds. So the first thing you heard is One Winged Angel with a black screen.
Yes.
And that's the composer optimized, the game designers didn't. What ended up happening is One Winged Angel got all the attention because that was the only thing that was happening in those first few seconds. But Uematsu kept making choices. Yeah, he made choices like that, thinking about making the game as immediate as possible. Even when it comes to music, he thought of music like oxygen. So it needs to be something that gets people like the feeling of like, oh, this world is alive, and it keeps me going through the game and the challenges in it. But those were times where those sort of limitations were absolutely necessary, because the consoles we had, the storage on those discs, it wasn't very generous, right? So you have to figure out how to do these things. Nowadays, there still are limitations in games, but nowhere near what existed. So as a composer myself, I can tell you the temptation to just do grandiose stuff just because you can do it is gigantic. So it's even more staggering that Soken, with everything that he knows, all the things he's able to do, because he's a really incredible composer, he's still able to think about the game first and puts like writing music that sounds cool and impressive second. Like, he does that, but it's not his main concern. And that's what I mean when I say he's a very kind composer. Like, there's very little ego involved in his music creation process. And it's pretty staggering. I mean, I am nowhere near his level of excellence, and I have way more ego for no fucking reason, So
That's funny.
I look at him and I'm like, that's the impression I got of him, and Uematsu as well, because I got to meet Uematsu and interview him as well. And I remember after the interview with Uematsu, the first time we talked, I was like, damn, I am an idiot. Like, I'm out here feeling good about myself. In the meantime, I'm talking to a literal divinity, and he doesn't even act like he's anything important. I'm like,
Yeah,
how
he's
does
very
that
humble.
work?
Yeah, that's funny. That's why he's so likable.
Yeah.
Not that you aren't, by the way.
No, but like, he's on a whole other level, right? It's like meeting someone who's very beautiful, like you guys, and being like, oh, surely they can't be nice, and then they're actually super nice. I'm like, you got everything.
That's pretty funny.
There's one thing I wanted to ask you, Alex. I'm glad to have you here for this. So I'm not classically trained in any sense of the word musically. I've actually almost avoided sort of any formal training in music. I mean, I can read music, so I know enough music theory to sit down at a piano and sort of like, read the notes and slowly figure out how to play it. But it's real basic. So when we make comments in these episodes about some of the more technical or like theory things going on, I'm always a little bit concerned that I'm way off on the terminology or that I'm totally misunderstanding it. But when I was sort of classifying the differences between Uematsu's style and Soken's style in that last episode we did, 1.0, do you think that we were on the mark with that, or do you think we missed the mark a little bit? Is there anything that you would clarify with that?
No, I think you were. I think you were pretty much on the mark. By the way, I'm not classically trained either. My story is I played Final Fantasy, and I thought to myself, hey, I want to make music. I have no talent, but I want to figure it out because it's such a beautiful thing. But I found myself in the deep end figuring out music. And one thing that you were very much on the nose about was the percussion. I thought that was so funny whenever you brought it up. Okay, so you were talking about the fact that in Uematsu's music, you hear this sort of percussion. This is going to be maybe a bit loud. Sorry, that was a metronome. This is like snare and timpani, right? But in Soken, it's like...
Yes.
Is that it?
It just feels closer or something.
Right? So I'm going to explain you what it is. First, I want to address the elephant in the room, by the way. This is one thing that fans of Final Fantasy XIV music, like the deep cut fans, really like to talk about, which is the fact that these soundtracks are really collaborative. And sometimes, like, depending on where you get your soundtracks from, where you buy your soundtracks from, the files may not be tagged correctly, right? So, for example, the tracks from Before Meteor, the ones that Nobuo Uematsu composed, oftentimes are composed by him, but they're arranged by his protege, a guy called Tsutomu Narita. He was part of the Earthbound Papas. He's the composer of Grand Blue Fantasy. And he's really great. He also, like, he arranged, for example, No Promises to Keep in Final Fantasy VII. Like, he works with Uematsu very close. And he is credited. Like, all these additional arrangers in Final Fantasy XIV are credited. But sometimes, and those composers, like, for example, Soken loves to shout out his collaborators a lot. Like, every time he collaborates with someone new, he posts about it on Twitter, like, hey, this track was arranged by this guy, or whatever, right? And this is connected to the percussion, by the way. I'm getting there. so what happens sometimes is when a company sends albums like soundtracks to a publisher that publishes them on Spotify and whatever, iTunes, etc. The publisher sometimes botches the metadata. So maybe they only put one artist in the artist field instead of all the artists that were supposed to be there. This really sometimes is out of the hands of the composers, and it really depends on the distributor. So on YouTube, for example, if you go on the description of the uploads, you will see the names of all the arrangers. And on the Before Meteor tracks on YouTube, you'll see Tsutomu Narita. Now, the percussion sound that you mentioned, the lighter one, is definitely Uematsu style. I guess he might have asked for that to Tsutomu Narita. It gives you a more organic sound and makes sure that your music can sound, doesn't have to sound like a blockbuster movie. Because basically, what happens when you compose orchestral music is the loudest sound, the biggest, boldest sound determines or sets the standard of loudness for the rest of the orchestra. If you have those blockbuster Hans Zimmer percussion, then the brass better be massive as well. So the strings and stuff like that, right? But Uematsu's style is more organic, more like intimate. He doesn't like the big blaring stuff, unless it's like guitars. But even with the guitars, it tends to be kind of balanced. That's why he uses the smaller percussion, which are the traditional symphonic percussion. The second ones, the ones that you hear in Soken's music, are the hallmark, of course, of Soken, but also there's a composer who worked a lot on the A Realm Reborn soundtrack, two composers actually, who arranged a bunch of tracks. They are a duo called Film Score, and their names are Yoshida Suzuki, who also worked on Final Fantasy XV and Final Fantasy VII, SS7 Rebirth, blah, blah. And Nobuo Toda is another composer. And they use those sort of big percussion, which I showed you. They are from a software, a sample library that you can use as a composer to write music. And the way they were recorded is they took like cars, broken cars, baseball bats, slammed the baseball bats into the car, like windshields and whatever, recorded that, processed the hell out of it, and then created these massive percussion sounds that you hear in trailers and stuff like that. They are sometimes organic percussion from orchestras, but they're so processed and mixed with those crazy sounds from broken cars or whatever that it kind of gives it that edge. But if you have a soft organic orchestra playing with those, it's not going to sound good. So it's basically a stylistic choice. They do appear in Final Fantasy XIV a lot. Soken uses them as well, but mostly I think it's Yoshida Suzuki and Nobuo Toda who use those. A bunch of other composers and arrangers who took part in Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn are Naoshi Mizuta, as you guys know. He did Before Meteor, not A Realm Reborn, sorry. Yeah, I know you love him dearly, and he's absolutely underrated composer, I think. And then there was also Tsuyoshi Sekito, who did a few tracks. Unless I'm wrong, he was a member of the Black Mages. And then I think so, yeah. And then there's Ryo Yamazaki, who did a few tracks in Before Meteor, which appear in A Realm Reborn. And Ryo Yamazaki, people don't know this, but on the Final Fantasy XIII soundtrack, there's a very popular theme called Blinded by Light. It was arranged by Ryo Yamazaki, unless I'm wrong. It was the melodies in the theme and stuff were composed by Hamauzu, but Ryo Yamazaki did the arrangement of the track, or at least helped with the arrangement of it. And again, depending on where you get your soundtracks, you may see that credit or you may not see it. So this is a problem, but I want to make clear this is not the choice of the composers. Like, Soken loves his collaborators. He's always crediting them, talking about them. And last time I was in Japan, like last year, they did a concert, the Primals, the Soken's band, at Budokan, which is a very important stage in Tokyo. And opening the concert was a DJ set where they played remixed music from Final Fantasy XIV. And the two DJs were Soken's junior composers, Daiki Ishikawa and Takefumi Mamura, which are freaking legends. So Soken is very happy to put them, to give them the attention. And so I just wanted to like say that, because people sometimes get the impression that it's not the case. No, he loves his juniors and he's really proud of them.
And composing a whole album or a whole game soundtrack, just one single person, is actually impossible
these days,
nowadays. Yeah. And so, like, you need a whole team to do this.
Yeah. You brought up the Primals, and I thought that was interesting. I haven't had a chance to like sit down and listen to the music from the Primals yet, but it's interesting that Soken has his own kind of rock band that is at least in this case, named after Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
You have black mages, and then primals are like the essentially the summons in this game that you fight against, right? So what is the style of that band? Is that kind of a grunge rock band, or like?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I would say so. Sometimes you can even say metal or just pure rock. It's just Soken calls it an uncle band. They're all like 40s and stuff.
He plays guitar in that band, right?
He plays guitar and he sings sometimes. And then sometimes he plays automaton. Or as I told you before, he plays the trumpet in one track. Yeah, dude, they're insane. They're really, really good. And when you hear those albums, you hear the full realization of those pieces of music, which in the game sound a bit different for the purpose of making those tracks fit the game from a game design perspective. But if you want to hear the actual vision behind those tracks, then the primal version sometimes like sell them even better.
Yeah, I didn't take down this quote, but I remember reading it in the interviews I was looking at, where he said even for the live performances of the music, and this would probably not necessarily apply to the primals, which are a rock band, but like the orchestral performances, right? He says that he wants to always have the people in the audience be able to recognize or remember their gameplay experience. So the arrangement will very closely match exactly what the game is in its first movement. But then in the second movement or whatever and beyond, they can start kind of doing different things with them. So he's really, really focused, or it's very important to him. He puts a lot of emphasis on this idea of the player, the listener, attaching their experience with that music to the experience of playing the game itself, which I thought was really cool.
I like that. It's because he's a gamer.
Yes.
So that's important.
Before we start getting into these tracks that we picked out as our favorites, was there anything else that you had taken any notes on, Alex, that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I'll try to be short. Only a couple things. One is you guys talk about how in Before Meteor, the city themes were different. And I didn't even know this. Like, I had no idea because I hadn't played it. But I listened to them with you guys and I was like, whoa, they are quite different. So the one thing that, like, as I listened to them, I was like really hit by it is the fact that with this brand new city themes we're going to hear today, I think the task they had was literally making them feel like a national anthem. It's interesting that you bring up the concert, like the Erosion Symphony, because basically I was there in London a few years ago, and when the Gridania theme went off, I almost started crying because this soundtrack is written in a way like MMORPGs are basically like a world in themselves, right? If you play them long enough, they really feel like a city that you've been in. And when I heard the Gridania theme, I was like, damn, this is my national anthem. I spent so much time in there and it really hit me. Also, a couple more things is actually the only one thing I want to say is, and I don't know if it's noticeable from this soundtrack or if it starts in the next few soundtracks, but I think the Final Fantasy XIV soundtracks are the ones where there's the most amount of prelude just showing up.
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Yeah, that motif is all over this game. It's in dozens of tracks.
Tons of tracks.
Anyway, I'm happy to start to listen to the music. I have no more notes to add.
Great.
Okay.
So generally the way that we do this is Casen and I will listen to these separately and we'll just sort of pick out the ones that stand out to us and we write some notes about them. You were telling me, because you had never played this game, never heard this music before.
Okay, I have to tell you.
You started picking way more than you were anticipating picking.
Okay. I've become a very big fan of Soken. He's the best modern composer alive. And I didn't know this. I'd heard a few tracks from his and some of our other analyses we've done before. But listening to this and just being like, ooh, that was a banger. And then the next track, I'm like, another banger. Next track, wow, I can't not bring up this track. And then I went through like the first 10 tracks of the album and I'm like, are all of these just like in that good? I think this is the best soundtrack that I've ever heard that was composed in the last, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, I'll say 20. It was a joy to listen to. Really, really fun. And I didn't expect this at all. I think, like, Uematsu is so good. His 80s and 90s stuff is great. But in the battle of Final Fantasy XIV's, I think that this one takes the cake, and it's pretty clear. And not just for 14. Like, this is like such a good soundtrack. I wasn't expecting how good it was going to be. And so, like,
the best is yet to come.
Oh, really? The expansions are even better than this?
I'm telling you, man, the best is yet to come. This is great. Don't get me wrong. This is insane, but the best is yet to come.
This guy is like the best composer to ever live. And I'm like, what? How am I just now listening to this music? Now people have been swearing by FF14 for a long time. I just haven't really been playing it. And there's something about like an aversion to MMOs that's kind of, I think both of us kind of feel that. I haven't played them in a long time, but it's wild that this open secret has just been sitting there this whole time. Yep. And I've been walking around it for my whole life for the last 15 years. Okay, so really cool. Anyways.
One of us. One of us. Sorry.
I gotta play this game now. I really do. But,
dude, I'm not joking. Sorry. I wish I was there with you guys so that my interruptions would feel more organic because there's the delay. But I just want to say, dude, this level of quality is reflected in the game and in its story. Legitimately, some of the best characters in Final Fantasy. Like, dude, I thought Sephiroth was cool. And then I played Shadowbringers. And the villain in Shadowbringers just changed everything for me. Like, he made Sephiroth feel lame. And Sephiroth is not lame. He's a great character. But if you're able to make Sephiroth feel lame, you're a total badass, dude. Like, crazy shit. So I would personally recommend it. It's a big time investment, but you would love it.
Well, I'll throw
see.
this out as a teaser to everybody. Casen and I are working on, in the background, a new series on the retrospective series on the Final Fantasy series. And so we're going back through them and playing them again. You're playing some of these for the first time.
Yeah.
And I mean, we will be playing 14, and I maybe I can be the guy who like gets you into that, because I think by the time we get there in the series, I probably will have already played through all the expansions and stuff, and so then I can just come in as like a high level character and like help you get through the game.
Give me all the gold and weapons. Why are there two preludes? That's what I want to know.
Oh, okay. Before that, because you had talked about
how this is the best composer to ever live.
Yes, I want to quote Soken on, because you said the battle of the Final Fantasy XIVs and this one coming out on top and things like that. Don't anticipate that I'm going to like counter anything you're saying.
He will give all the reverence to Uematsu that Uematsu deserves.
That's basically exactly what he did.
Yeah, please do.
He did reuse a lot of the music from 1.0.
I noticed that. Yeah,
there was more than I remembered when we did the episode on 1.0. I remembered like, oh, I've heard this one in A Realm Reborn, and I've heard this one. I think I pointed out like a handful of them. It's actually like dozens of tracks that were sort of reused. So there is a lot of Uematsu in A Realm Reborn.
Cool.
And I believe that Uematsu did, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Alex, but he did some of the like, again, like the big sort, I don't know if you'd call them main themes of the expansions, but the one where they have a singer come in, and he composed like one track all the way up to, is it Stormblood or something like that? And then after that, he wasn't doing it anymore.
He did Stormblood, like he did one track in there called Revelations, I think, which was it was iconic, yeah.
Yeah, I think after Stormblood, he was no longer contributing to the 14 soundtracks after that.
Okay.
But so Uematsu is still there, and I'm not seeing the quote that I thought I took down here, but basically he says,
oh, wait, I just want to add one detail, because even after Stormblood, he was still there, not in the sense that he was composing, but for example, the main theme of Shadowbringers features very prominently Eternal Wind from Final Fantasy III, like the melody. So he's still there. Like, you can't shake him off.
They do reference
endures
old music from the series a lot in Final Fantasy XIV.
Which is something 14, the original version, did not do.
Yeah,
very
exactly. So anyways, I don't know. My notes are a little bit out of order, but basically what he said was Final Fantasy music, even I believe the way he was saying this was even the stuff I'm composing that's like my original pieces going into this game belongs to Uematsu. Like the sound, the musical identity of this series belongs to him, and that he was always approaching the way he wrote music with trying to be faithful to that spirit.
It shows.
Yeah.
It shows.
I think it does. I actually took notes on a couple of tracks I think we can start getting into now. Whereas like this has Uematsu's feel in it. Like this feels like something from Final Fantasy XI or something like that.
It's funny to think no Uematsu, no Soken, right? It's like to say that Soken has maybe done something Uematsu didn't or couldn't do is just to say that Soken is standing on Uematsu's shoulders the whole time. And I have a lot of respect for that. I shouldn't characterize it as a battle between the FF14s. They won't like it, but I can't help but compare these two. And I also can't help but heavily favor one of the two.
Well, I think I even said something like that at the end of the 1.0 episode we did, where they were doing some of the bridge pieces that were getting, like when they're getting ready to launch A Realm Reborn, and you start hearing Soken more.
Yeah.
Like I kind of was talking a little bit about like, oh, I'm really into these.
Yeah, me too.
More so than even the main game. Okay. So you asked the question, why two preludes? So one is one that just sits on the title screen of the game.
Okay.
And then the other one is one that like actually plays when you're starting up the game.
Okay.
Is it while you're creating your character? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. It's the character creation music basically.
So it's the biggest sounding prelude.
Yes.
There's that's the first title screen track, and then character creation is the normal kind of soft prelude.
Right.
Okay.
So did you write down any of those preludes as one you want to listen to? Because I wrote down
the third track 3.
Okay, so I wrote down track 2.
Me too.
Torn from the Heavens. So why
I
don't
wrote down
I do
the
this
first
real quick?
15 tracks.
So we're going to go to track number 2 here, which is Torn from the Heavens.
Ooh.
And immediately, I think how big this feels in comparison to the 1.0 soundtrack for all the reasons that Alex laid out, right? In terms of like the actual production side. But it's just the immediate difference that I notice. But one thing I really, really love about this soundtrack in particular, and I don't know, maybe Alex, you could let me know if in any of your interviews with Soken he mentioned anything like this. But I felt this distinct feeling that even when things are tense or dangerous or using instrumentation that might give an uneasy feeling, somehow he's still able to, at the same time, give like a relaxing vibe, particularly to big area themes that you're running around in a lot, which I think is really important
for an MMO.
In MMOs. I think MMOs are played by people who they want to unwind, they kind of just, hang out with people and kind of like, and so there's this very relaxing feel to the overall soundtrack, even when it's being big and epic and dangerous or whatever. I don't know how you feel about that, Alex, or if he mentioned anything about that in your interviews with him.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I don't know if I heard him say that exactly, but I think what you're referring to is the fact that you can listen to this on a loop and it doesn't get tiring for your ears, right? It's not like hard hit. Like, I mean, it hits hard, but there's a softness to it that allows it to loop over and over without you getting tired of it. That was a very intentional choice. And this is one of the hardest things to do as a game composer, to write a track that, even if it loops forever, it doesn't tire the listeners. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that they must have made lots of choices to make that happen. So very keen of you to like notice that. Also, did you guys notice the classic Final Fantasy call out here?
Yeah, the prelude. The prelude is all over this.
No, not just that. That's the obvious one. But notice this. Okay, it comes down on the strings. It's gone.
I missed it.
So
pause it for a second.
Okay.
How did the Final Fantasy, I think 1 to 4 battle themes start?
Oh, the sort of...
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, dun 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 dun
Oh,
dun dun dun
that
dun.
one.
Exactly.
I
So
see.
the brass was doing that like a few seconds ago.
Let me pull that back up again. Okay, here it comes right here.
Now,
There it is.
See, I'll bet you that this whole soundtrack is full of like small references like that.
Yeah.
Like probably hundreds of them. That's
Yeah.
crazy because I caught a bunch. I didn't catch that one. That makes me think there's going to be
Well,
even more.
that definitely lends itself to his statement about Final Fantasy music belongs to Uematsu, and that he wants to be true to that spirit. And so you'll hear those kinds of references all over it.
That's crazy.
by the way, this was an example of a track that was composed by Soken and arranged by Yoshitaka Suzuki and Nobuo Toda.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, we good to move on to number
Track
three?
Do track 3.
Okay.
Let it, you know, play for a little bit and then move to about 2 minutes in. Another thing I've noticed, these are long tracks.
They are.
Like not all of them, of course, but there are a ton of like 10 plus minute tracks in this soundtrack that it's just wild. And it's not just a simple loop over and over. This changes at about 2 minutes in. So this is just the normal one. But if you go to 2 minutes here, you're going to...
I love it.
You're going to hear him do
in,
something
yeah.
so interesting.
I know what you're talking about.
It's coming up right here. This. And you have...
This is so cool.
You still have
It's amazing.
that sort of like arpeggiated harp.
It's double
like
time.
underneath it
Yeah.
and sort of like driving it, but underneath this kind of new string melody he's got over the top of it, which is really nice.
Like
It's really pleasant.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so because there's a lot of ways that you can change the prelude and make it fit different situations. But this is one I hadn't really heard before.
So the interesting thing about this bit is that even like track 1, like the prelude, the shorter one, they have this sense of promise. Like when you hear this, when you boot the game the first time, you're like, this feels familiar, but I feel like there's a whole new adventure that will take me to places I never would have imagined. Like you, Casen, never imagined like the prelude to go this way, right?
Yeah.
All these new harmonies and stuff. Like that's a metaphor for what the game is. And then the game fucking delivers. It's like,
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Any more notes on this number 3? Because I want to move to number 4 now. So Ul'dah, this is kind of the main theme of one of the starting areas, which is Ul'dah.
Is this oldest theme?
Ul'dah's theme. Yeah.
Okay. This is called the City of Hope in Japanese.
Yeah. So the name of the track is A New Hope, but it is used as the theme of Ul'dah, which is one of the 3 starting areas.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And this has become my favorite starting area.
This is so good.
Because
so
because
cool.
of that feeling you just got listening to that part where those strings start sailing there.
So it's a Land Before Time is what it reminds me of.
I've tried the game a whole bunch of times before I actually finally clicked with it and got through all the way.
Yeah.
So I started my first time on 1.0. I started in Limsa Lominsa.
Oh, yeah.
But then the first time I played A Realm Reborn, I started in Gridania. But then every time after that, I've started in Ul'dah. And it's largely because of how this feels. And I really love the night theme version of it a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the coolest thing. Like that every like all these grandiose city themes have a night version.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. I feel like RPGs should be required to do that. You need to have a day and a night theme for every town and every area or whatever. As long as the game has a day-night cycle, obviously. But
Right.
I just love that. I remember, I think the first time I encountered that was in Xenoblade Chronicles, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever freaking seen in a game in my life. I was like, dude, this is amazing. So they do that in this. But I think this song this track has a real like regal strength to sort of show the character of Ul'dah as a nation.
Yeah.
But it has this incredible dynamism to it as well. Like right here, it's going to come way down, right?
Yeah.
And be really soft and then come back up again. And dynamism
Nice.
is really important to me in good like game music, especially when it's looping and you're going to hear it a lot. It needs to be able to move and not just be one note all the way through.
Yeah.
And all of the music has that, but it's really good in this one in particular to me. These quiet moments are really strong. Hearing this again, I wrote, makes me want to renew my subscription to Final Fantasy XIV and go play it again. So yeah, I love this theme. You guys have any notes on this one?
yeah, it's really masterful to write music this way, exactly for the reason you mentioned. Like, it gives you a feeling of like, I can listen to this forever. And also, this track represents every shade of Ul'dah. As you cross the city, you may be in open spaces, you may be in intimate places, and the music keeps going. So giving you all this dynamism allows for making those intimate moments feel more intimate if you happen to be there when the track gets a bit more quiet, right? So it's really an art to write music this way. It's one of the hardest things, because also cities like Ul'dah are a character in itself, right? And writing character themes is very hard because you gotta nail all the different beats. There's some sides to Ul'dah, the more sketchy ones, that this theme doesn't necessarily describe because you don't get to see them until much later. But you know, it's really incredible.
Yeah. Oh, I just love this theme. It's so good.
I know. It was around this time where I was like, this is such a special
this is like the first
soundtrack.
The first
I know. I'm at the
themes you hear in the
beginning.
game.
Yeah.
I could tell though. Like, oh man.
Yeah. I'm going to move on here to track number 5, which is Thanalan Field Theme. Again, an early game field theme. And I wrote that I felt that this one sounds very much like Uematsu's style. I don't remember, and I didn't have time to look into exactly which tracks came from 14 1.0 or not.
Okay.
I don't know if this one is, but if it's not, it sounds very much like him to me. It's got like the Uematsu flair to it. But I wrote that I don't think it was reused from 1.0, but I just think it's a great vibe, especially this part when the percussion comes in. The style of percussion in this is what I was talking about with Uematsu's percussion, and those tribal flutes.
Yeah,
that sounds very FF11.
Oh yeah, me. That's right. Yeah, right? Totally, absolutely.
And so yeah, I felt like this one was a very Uematsu sounding piece. But
one thing I love about this one is that it paints a picture that's very striking because of the instruments that are being used, and this is a rule that has been followed in pretty much most of the regions in Final Fantasy XIV. In A Realm Reborn specifically, each area, like if you were in the Gridania area, the Ul'dah area, Limsa area, or Coerthas area, you have, even the battle themes would change. Like the battle theme melody will be kind of similar, but the instrumentation would change to fit the area you're in. It's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't take notes on any of the like main battle themes or versions of it in the game, but it is a theme that you will hear in every like location, but they change its sort of like vibe to match that location, which I think is really cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
They lost that in later expansions, I think, and I kind of missed that.
No, really.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, like you have one theme and it plays throughout.
Oh, just all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6 here. This one, actually, I didn't take 6. Did you take any before 10?
Here's the thing. I probably did too much. So maybe we shouldn't go off of mine. Just know my opinion. I didn't even put a ton of notes down. I'm just like, this track's amazing. Yeah. This track's amazing. All of them are amazing. So we can just jump over.
I have a bunch, but my next one is 32.
Okay. So I'm gonna do number 10 next.
I was early, heavy early, and I do a lot less later.
10 is Bowdown, and this is one of the Chocobo themes of the game. They have 2. The other one the other Chocobo theme that I'm not playing now is the one that was reused from 1.0.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. It's funny. This is the one that I skipped. I wrote down 1 through 14 and I skipped 10.
Oh, really?
This is the one I didn't like.
I love this one.
No, it's great. It's just I didn't have much to say about it.
I especially love the way it leads into it, like the way it builds into it. So now we're kind of in the Chocobo theme, but like the big percussion at the beginning.
Yeah.
This part. I really like this part a lot.
It's cool.
Anyway, but I had to throw a Chocobo theme in there at some point because you always got to do that. Let's go to number 11. You have 11?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Sultana Dreaming. This is the night theme of Ul'dah. So it's the same melody, but it's the night version. And it's just freaking magnificent. It's so freaking good.
It makes you appreciate those melodies in a different way.
Yes. And I think that's what I like so much about when games do this, where they have a day and night theme. It is the same melody. And it shows you how different the same exact arrangement of notes in a melody can feel based on the arrangement around it and the speed at which it's played and all kinds of other factors. So anyone who's tried like remixing or doing your own version of like a popular rock song or something, if you're in a band, knows like how creative you can get with that, and how, I mean, you can move it into different genres entirely. Or like one of my favorites of this sort of thing is why am I blanking on the name of the band right now?
Bulb.
Well, no? Bulb does like Final Fantasy music. He's the guitarist from Periphery, Misha Mensur.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of Goldfinger when they did 99 Red Balloons.
Oh, yes. Right? That was fun.
Like how different that version feels from the original version.
Right. Did you ever hear like the Johnny Cash version of Hurt?
How different it was from Trent Reznor's version.
That's another great example. But that's the problem.
Johnny Cash's is mind blowing. It is one of the best songs ever written.
It gives a different context.
Do yourself
to the
a favor and listen.
Yeah, it gives a whole different story to it. But this is the problem, right? When you want to do this as a composer, like writing a theme in different versions, that needs that theme to be really good. Because if you write a shit theme, as soon as you arrange it, it just falls flat, right? So when you hear this, it just shows how amazing it is. One time I worked on a fan project, which was a reimagining of Final Fantasy IX remade with modern technology. It was called Final Fantasy IX Memoria Project. We recreated the Alexandria bit. It was very fun.
You do the music on that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so when I was working with the guys and they told me, we're going to have an Alexandria day and night situation. You can visit the city at night. I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Final Fantasy XIV thing. And, I'm going to have a day version of the Alexandria theme, which is based on the Uematsu normal version, which is Vivi's theme. But then at night, I'm going to do what they did here with 14. I'm going to take that melody and make it a bit more, slower, more, just nicer when it comes to like making you feel relaxed. And I'm also gonna try to like make it describe the people of Alexandria at night, like the nobility and normal people and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And it was so easy to make because the original theme by Uematsu is so freaking amazing. So that's the thing. If the music is really good, you can do this stuff. If music just is not that good, it's gonna fall in its place.
Which one would you write first, the night theme or the day theme? Just as a composer.
I think the day theme.
Yeah, that's what would be my thought
start
too.
There, yeah.
Yeah, start there. Yeah. My next pick was 16. Do you have anything before that you want to listen to? Everything?
Every track before. Except for 15. I didn't do 15. No. Let's hit 16.
Okay, so 16 is A World Apart. I really like sort of the adventurous spirit to this one. What I wrote down is this is Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn's version of the Final Fantasy main theme. You'll hear it here in a minute. It takes a little bit to work into it, but it's another track that's fun to compare between different games, like the way that they use the main Final Fantasy theme in there. But this one has a lot of strength, and it used really big percussion that kind of Soken favors. And I just liked it a lot. I liked his take on the Final Fantasy main theme. So, and I know this is one of your favorite tracks of the whole, or not tracks, but like melodies of the whole series. So I was curious as soon as I was listening to this, what your take on this particular.
He's got that marching snare going on. The percussion is really heavy. It probably makes this not my favorite version of this song, but you can't go wrong with this song. It's so good. But so you hear it right now. The differences, the things that he's doing to make it unique are really cool. And the percussion, the way that he's using it, probably, I'm guessing, fits the game really well. But it's not my favorite version of it. But when it gets into this part right here, where it's just like a flowing orchestra, it's not like too percussive.
That's like a viola carrying the main.
Yeah, it sounds like
there.
either a viola or a very high cello. But this is a great example of what I was talking before. Now that there's less percussion, the orchestra can be more dynamic. But if the percussion is blaring, you need to have that massive brass, right? But then maybe you don't like it, right? Depends. It's a taste situation. Some people like the more refined, like this. Other people like to be blown apart from the orchestra. So
sure.
And I like both. But for this song, for this theme, slow it down a little bit. Let me feel the feels.
The next one, track 17, is
17 is really cool.
The main theme of Limsa Laminsa, which is another one of the
From
starting
original?
areas. It's another one of the starting areas, yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's not the same theme as in 1.0. 1.0 had different melodies for all of these starting areas.
I see. Okay. But
they're different in this one. But this is the Limsa Laminsa theme for A Realm Reborn.
I love this one.
Yeah, it's very like maritime pirate kind of inspired, right?
Yeah.
You get like those bagpipes a little bit in there. I don't know if that's necessarily associated with pirates, but it makes me think of the sea.
It does in a way, absolutely. Go to, in this particular track, go to 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay.
These tracks are so long.
They are. Here it comes. Okay, we're about 10 seconds off of there, but it's coming up.
It really changes into this. It morphs.
Oh, I love that bagpipe.
And it gets, I love it when the bagpipe sits in the background, but is playing stuff that otherwise would be very melodic in the foreground.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But so he kind of breaks it down to this minimal, the drums, and very intimate kind of feel. And then he kind of rebuilds it up, starts adding more instruments in here. This is so cool.
Yeah.
This part's really fun.
This is a little bit of a Pirates of the Caribbean kind of feel to it almost.
Absolutely.
Not exactly, but a little bit.
It's a fun way to take that theme that you were hearing before, and he stretched. This song's over 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
Or what is it? 13 minutes long?
Almost 14.
Just
minutes,
wild. I mean, we could listen to this whole track, and it's gonna zig and zag and do all kinds of interesting things. But that was my favorite move right there.
Yeah, it's great. Any thoughts on Limsa Laminsa from you, Alex?
It's a banger, man. This is the, for some reason, Limsa became the city where people spend the most time at. Like, there's always loads of people in Limsa being away from the keyboard. And I think the music has something to do with it. I also love the bagpipes. One of the really cool things about the Final Fantasy XIV soundtrack, again, is that it features so many kinds of instruments, right? So I can imagine there must be quite a few players, like multiple thousands, who might have heard an instrument here and were like, what is this sound? I don't really hear it often. And then you discover, oh, a bagpipe. That's what a bagpipe sounds like. And they get into this stuff and maybe they become bagpipe players or something. Like, you hear these sort of stories, and it's great that Soken really and the team decided to use as many instruments as possible in the score. But most especially, one thing that has to be said, when it comes to a game with a really kick-ass soundtrack, yes, it's because the composer who work on the game are amazing, but it's also merit sometimes of the directors of the games who are telling the composers, I trust you, do whatever you like. Or maybe they tell them hey, I want to hear bagpipes or something. When you work with a director who really trusts you as a composer, and also a director who has a vision, you end up doing your best job. And I feel like game directors don't get enough credit because, dude, a bad game director can destroy a soundtrack. I know that from personal experience.
I like this.
when we hear these bangers, we gotta think about the fact that Yoshida allowed this to happen. So I'm really thankful to him as well. And also, much later on in Final Fantasy XIV, there are some tracks, I think one, where Yoshida sings.
Oh, really?
So you might hear that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out real quick that my favorite part of this track is when that flute carries things right here. And this just tends to be true for me in general with RPG soundtracks. Okay, I think it's right here. Wait, is this it? Wait, where were we?
It was after that because we jumped. It was like 5.
A bit after that. Yes, this part. I tend to really like I guess it's coming after this, but anyway, the sort of slow, could be interpreted almost half sad, half hopeful type of themes.
Yeah.
Uematsu's really good at that type of music. Comes to mind is Final Fantasy VIII with the, what's the name of the town?
Fisherman's Horizon.
Fisherman's Horizon.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite part of the track. I love this flute. It almost is a little Lord of the Rings like.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You get the Shire a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I can feel that.
It's fantastic. I love it. Okay. Let's go on to the next one.
This one's so good.
This one's great. It's the area themes, there's the kind of thing you as a former RuneScape player.
Yes, that is my MMO experience.
When you're just where you're going to spend most of your time, you're doing your grinding, you're running around,
mining.
doing quests and trying to get into parties or whatever.
Yeah.
These themes are really important to like keep you engaged in the game, even if some of the tasks might be a little menial or whatever. And so like,
this would be perfect for that.
These parts of the soundtrack I think are really important, and I feel like Final Fantasy XIV really nails them. I think they're really good in this game. Okay. So I'm going to go to number 20 now, which I think it correctly is Salt Swept, right? This is...
I
think I got back on track now with my notes. This is the one that I felt had almost that Final Fantasy V Uematsu feel to it. Do you guys get that a little bit?
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's that pirate stuff again.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of in the same area as this as Salt Swept. It's the
the sea,
the areas surrounding Limsa Lominsa.
Cool.
But I loved this one. 23, which is Sailor Never
It's
Sleeps.
also like this one had a leitmotif that appears in many other tracks as well, which occurred for like literally 2 seconds. And I forget what the leitmotif means, if like it's a Limsa leitmotif or not, but it just appeared. But yeah, let's move on to the next one.
23 is A Sailor Never Sleeps, and this one is the
This one
night
was
theme.
cool.
This is Limsa
really?
Lominsa theme from earlier, but it's the night version of it, which again, every RPG should be required to do this.
This is so cool. I love this.
So it's good. The melee's going to come in right here.
And once again, that flute, that
The nighttime goes well with flutes. I guess flutes help people sleep or something.
There's a
so
joy, like there's a celebration throughout this soundtrack. Like it's not afraid of being happy. And this is because again, it's A Realm Reborn, right? It's like we're getting back.
and just occasionally just taking turns highlighting one single.
Passing the
song.
melody from one instrument to the next, right?
There's this
That
one.
is an art, dude. And when you write like relaxing themes like this one, that's a very useful technique to make the theme not feel boring. Because if you did the whole theme on one instrument, it could sound stale after a while, especially if you're trying to describe a whole civilization in a city. So it's good to, transition to different instruments for the melody. It's nice you guys notice that.
Keeps it fresh. Do you know, because you were saying that he's a trumpet player, did he play trumpet on any of these tracks, Soken?
I'm not sure. I know he played it on Metal Brute Justice, but I'm not sure about this ones.
This might just be one of his, samples or whatever, but yeah.
It could be because it sounds really good, actually.
It sounds great.
It might be live.
Yeah, I mean, if it is a sound font or a library or whatever, it's like it's performed with a lot of nuance that sounds very human. And that's an art in and of itself too.
Yeah.
If you're composing with libraries to like basically control like on your keyboard or whatever how hard you press the instrument as you're performing that to give it like a human touch.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. So, for example, like when I can play it now from here. For example, like if you're playing like a keyboard, can you hear this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how hard I play it. But if I'm playing like a string instrument, like this, I can soften it, And this is not a volume controlling methodology. It's called the mod wheel, and it basically controls the dynamic of the string instrument. So making the string players playing a bit softly, and this is just the marvel of programming and audio technology. With a trumpet, you gotta do that. You control like how strongly you play the key. You control the dynamics with the mod wheel, but then you have to control like the breathiness, how much air is flowing in the trumpet, vibrato, and all this stuff. Like there's so much detail that goes in a solo trumpet like that one. So actually writing a solo trumpet that sounds convincing is so much work. It's way easier to play live if you're able to do it. I'm not able to do it, so when I have to write this, I cry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe.
Well, because a musician, they're feeling their performance, and when they choose to like put more of a blast into that note, and then when to ease it, and then when to use vibrato and when not to, and there's an ebb and flow to performance that makes an instrument sound like it's being played by a human.
Right.
That is really hard to replicate
just with your fingers.
Without having extra controls. And so that's something that the modern, engineering has like given more control over, but it's a ton of freaking work to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like when you play an instrument like a trumpet, like it's a conversation, right? And when you have a conversation, like you change. There's so many details in even our conversation now. There's so many imperceptible details that make us sound human, and it's hard to recreate all of those. And there comes a point. Some instruments is a bit easier because they figure it out with the programming and the way the instrument is played. Anyway, it's like maybe makes itself more compatible to be recreated digitally. But there's some where you're like, no, I can't. It's really hard. At that point, you might as well just ask a trumpeter to just do it. But sometimes you don't have time. So,
so when I would do composing for a lot of our old videos on our old channel and stuff, one thing that was impossible, and I always just got Matt to do it, was tin whistle.
Oh, tin whistle, yeah. It's the most human sounding instrument.
His expressions on that is just, I don't know, maybe nowadays they have a great tin whistle library out there somewhere, but
no, I've been looking for it. I mean, there's some good ones, but you can't get the sound of a real player.
It's impossible. And so I was so happy because it's such a like peculiar instrument. You don't know a lot of people out there who know how to play a tin whistle. And our roommate like loved the tin whistle, and he had many different ones in different octaves and everything.
He was way into it.
Hey, you gotta hook me up, dude. I need
100%
player for a soundtrack I'm doing.
I'll let you know. I'll get you his contact information. He's really good too. He basically learned tin whistle at a really pretty high level in a very short time.
Very short. He's really smart though. He's just a really he's a highly intelligent person.
Maybe we'll throw in a couple of pieces I've produced. One was the Zelda thing we did, and then another one was the Xenogears thing I did.
Oh yeah,
and he played tin whistle in both of those, and just elevated them like way beyond what they would have sounded like if I was using just like a tin whistle library.
I remember the Wind Waker one. We also got a live violinist
to play on that one as well.
Yeah,
dude, cool. That's amazing because like when you get this is why. Okay, I won't necessarily judge people who use AI music, but I think it will never be as cool as getting humans and asking them, hey, do you want to play on my song?
Yes.
Because you're like asking them, hey, I have this story. Do you want to add your story so we can tell it? We can tell something nicer together, right?
That's the best way I've heard.
When you have your friend, like I have a friend who's a game composer. His name is Austin Wintory. He's like,
I know. Yeah, we know him.
He's one of the greatest living composers right now. He did Journey.
He is also one of the greatest people I ever met. Like he's really incredible human. And one of my favorite things that he told me when it comes to his work is that when he writes like the score parts, for the orchestra, he sometimes goes as far as writing people's names. Or he won't write cello. He will write Tina because the name of the cellist he works with is Tina Guo. He thinks about, I'm not writing this for a cellist. I'm writing this for Tina. I'm writing this in a way that I know she would like to play or something. And when you really get to see musicians as people like that, and you understand that when they play on your stuff, they're playing their story, and especially, you let them do that. The music just takes on a whole different level, like you just said. So it's really nice that to hear of people like you who do this, and it's great whenever people do this on game soundtracks, and that's why so many like themes in Final Fantasy XIV, other than the ones where they have been arranged by other people, there's many themes that feature musicians. Sometimes they're vocalists or sometimes like solo players, which elevate the track to a whole different level. So I love to see this.
Yeah,
That's so
that's
cool.
really great to compose something for a player, a specific player. I think that's brilliant. My next one is 26, which is Whalers and Water Wheels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're getting into Gridania now, which is the other starting area, one of the three.
Yeah.
And this is the one I started in the first time I played A Realm Reborn. So anytime I hear this, it kind of takes me back to that like initial contact with this version of the game. Because I played 1.0, not a lot. I did not like it. But, you know, my buddy, who I call out all the time because he always tries to get me into MMOs, Kenny McLean, he loves wooded areas, I feel like. He always likes the wooded areas, and so he started here, so I started here.
Okay, that first, like, 30 seconds of this song is Rivendell from The Lord of the Rings.
Totally.
Yeah.
Great choice. And so this is the wooded, so we have, what was it, like a deserty kind of place?
Yes.
Then a port, and now a foresty kind of place.
Right.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
I like this song a lot.
It's great.
This one made my list as well.
It's fantastic. Let's see, what did I write for this one? I wrote.
It is very Lord of the Rings coded. I'm happy someone brought it up. I didn't want to be the guy who says it.
Yeah.
But it is.
And that's a good thing, by the way.
That is not a diss. Yeah.
There's almost no greater inspiration.
It's just fascinating that, because like, I think sometimes game music gets a bad rep whenever it does something too orchestral, because people think Hollywood is bad automatically. I believe that's not the case. There's some Hollywood soundtracks that are absolutely incredible. I don't know how. Yeah, Lord of the Rings count as Hollywood, I guess, even though it was recorded in the UK and everything. But you know, like, there's ways to reference Hollywood stuff with a lot of style, and this is one of them.
Yeah. That's
I'm so
you know
glad
what, real
you brought
quick,
this up.
That's one of the things that I want to bring up with Soken, because I've been trying to think about this. Like Soken does the Hollywood style in a unique way that's just awesome
with that
and beautiful.
Japanese flair that we love.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's got the Japanese feel, it's got the Final Fantasy feel, and it's got everything I love. But I'm not just saying that, and then he Hollywoodized it. That's not right necessarily. But it kind of is, because there's some really good music in Hollywood, but not in the cheap like movie trailer way, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times people think about Hollywood and they're thinking of movie trailers. But it's like the movies actually have really good music. It's the trailers that have all kind of fallen into a rut of the same type of music.
Sometimes the movies themselves can have crappy music. Like, it really depends, right? Because also like the deadlines can be really tight, and so sometimes even as a composer you find yourself just, hey, I don't have time, or maybe the client doesn't have the understanding of what great music is. So you send them something, because I used to make music for Hollywood movie trailers. I've been in a situation where I send something to a client and it's kind of melodic and it has. Yeah, and they're like, I need it to be more generic. This is too studied or whatever. I'm like, okay.
And for trailers, you're trying to appeal to every single human that's ever been born.
This is back to your point about directors, though. A lot of times they'll throw temp music into like the cut of the film they're working on.
That's true.
And they'll just say, write something that feels like the temp music.
I hate that.
And it's just like, dude, no. That's terrible.
That's the thing. Yeah, but like, I think with Japanese composers, like, I really get the feeling that they really love, orchestral music from Europe and from America, the golden age Hollywood sound, though, not the one that we have in many movies now necessarily. So you have these beautiful orchestrations that are really elaborate. And, the arranger here, Yoshida Suzuki, also appeared in many other Final Fantasy soundtracks, and there's quite a few of his Final Fantasy arrangements that are freaking crazy, like really, really amazingly detailed. Again, these melodies are from Soken. They both wrote it together. I'm assuming this is what the credits are like. But there's many composers in Square Enix who understand orchestral music for the beautiful music it can be. Soken is one of them. Yoshitaka Suzuki is one of them. My absolute favorite, which is not in Final Fantasy XIV, is a guy called Shotaro Shima, who's doing the music for FF7 Rebirth and Remake a lot. And his orchestral music is like out of this world, dude. Beautiful. It's very Hollywood, but in a good way.
But in a good way. That would be it. This music is Hollywood, but in a good way.
Yeah, it reminds me more of the type of Hollywood blockbuster from 80s,
Like
90s,
the 90s
era.
Yeah,
versus
dude.
now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Track 36 is the next one I have.
Do I have more before that? I think I do. I have 30,
Ooh.
which is Writer's Boon.
This is when I slowly
Which one
stopped
did you
adding
say
every
you
single
have,
track.
Alex?
I have 32. Can you play that one real quick? I think it's called Green Wrath. I just want you guys to pay attention to the sound. This is Soken, purely Soken.
Oh, I like the piano on this one.
Uh-huh. Check out where it goes now. Give it a moment.
Ooh. Got those nice pads.
Yeah.
They give it a wide soundscape.
Yeah. Check this shit out, man.
Almost like the pedals on an organ, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love this part.
Dude.
This gives me like piano collections vibes.
Yeah, it does.
From like the
A
piano
bit.
collections of Final Fantasy, yeah. Or like maybe like what's his name? The composer of the Ghibli movies?
Oh, Suzuki Honda.
Joe Hisaishi.
Hisaishi.
Joe Hisaishi.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of that in this too.
Yes, I actually feel that a lot.
Dude, the harmonies though, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very rich. Those are big
Yeah.
chords, really big chords.
yeah. That's what Soken does. Like he really transports you to a world through just sound. And even that piano, like it had some really nice delay on it and stuff like that. It's not just a guy playing a piano. He's like thinking of the piano as like, oh, how can I just make it sound a bit more mystical, right? Which is not like, it's not the first composer to ever do this, but he does it to a degree that is quite rare, I think.
Love it.
My next one is 40. Do you have one before that?
36.
36, okay.
Staking my honor. I don't know. I had the
What?
Japanese. I didn't.
Oh, this one's a battle theme, I think. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this one stood out to me because, as I mentioned before, I don't love battle music.
Usually you're not into battle themes, yeah.
But I think I'm maybe changing my tune because what I've noticed is I'm not a huge fan of the battle music up until Final Fantasy X or 11. And then afterwards, it's like, I'm missing the town music. I'm missing, and like this whole OST is
Notwithstanding.
missing the town music that I love from the 90s and 80s. But it's doing more of what I like in the battle music, which
Oh,
the
I
previous
love-
games.
How he works the prelude
Yes,
into
that's what
this.
I love.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote here.
right
The-
here.
I wrote, yes. Prelude mix in clever. That was my note.
Also not easy to have a harp stand out with all this massive orchestra under it. That's again like Soken's sound design and mixing techniques.
He has those soft staccato hits
Yeah.
that kind of help the harp along in order
Right.
to make it happen. It's not just, very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mixed in a way to where it's got like it's not quite as edged. It's a little softer.
Yes.
And the
that's the
percussion
edge
and
of the
stuff.
harp, kind of.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is the transients, right? Like the power of every hit is softened. So as you say, it doesn't tire you.
Yeah.
Or in guitar terms, it is taking that switch at the bottom of your guitar and switching it to the forward pickups and not the backward pickups.
You get the warmer sound.
That's
to
what
it.
that means.
Yeah, it softens the attack transients. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one's 40. Anyone got anyone before
I
that?
have 39, but 39 and 40.
Okay, let's do 39.
Oh, there it is.
This fanfare
Fanfare.
is so freaking big.
It's huge.
It's the biggest fanfare, and the way that it ends too. It's just like dun dun ah, and around
You
this
got
time in the
they got
soundtrack,
the chorus underneath
the
it,
chorus.
the choir.
That's what I was
yeah.
going to bring up. Around this time, Soken starts really bringing in his chorus, and every other track for the rest of this OST is going to have this like choir of this talented choir of just like phenomenal belting singers here,
Yeah.
and its use here for the fanfare. This isn't the normal fanfare, is it? This must be a special.
It's the same melody, but
Yes,
yeah.
but I mean, is this is the exact track that plays every time?
Every time you finish a boss fight in a dungeon, this plays.
A
Yeah.
boss fight.
And also when you finish the dungeon itself. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't
Okay.
get this for like every battle because that would
Okay.
be crazy.
That the way that the other old games used to be. Okay,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say this is like so epic.
Yeah.
This must be reserved for
Yes.
special moments.
Yes, you're
Okay.
right. You're correct in
That's
assuming
good.
that. Yes.
There are some fights in Final Fantasy XIV where you fight the boss and it's a tragic situation. So at the end, the character does not celebrate because you know this death was necessary, but also it hurts a lot. And you may hear the music, but the character is like not feeling it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX, I think, had a moment like that.
Yeah, where it didn't play the normal fanfare.
Or it did, but the characters were not celebrating.
Right. My next one is Walking Sands, number 40. And I just wrote, I wrote that this is so soothing. I love
I put this one too.
this flavor. Most particularly in this game, like the way that this game uses this flavor. I feel like, again, all RPGs, they need dynamics, not just in individual pieces, but across the whole soundtrack.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
you just came off of a giant celebratory fanfare right down
in history
into this very soothing, very calm sort of feel to it. And I think this plays in
serene.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this plays in a lot of like kind of smaller cutscenes and things like that. But just in the moments where you're kind of coming down a little bit off of something big.
Yeah, you're absolutely accurate because this basically the Walking Sands is the headquarters of the Scions, which is like the organization of heroes, right? And they send you on missions, and when you come back from the Victory Fanfare, you go to this theme, as you say. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. So this is, I'm trying to remember because it's been a couple years since I played it, but I feel like this area is kind of in like a little town that's near kind of a beach or an ocean. It's not like Limsa Lominsa, but
it's in the Ul'dah area.
It's in the Ul'dah area, yeah.
But it is its own town, yeah.
Yeah, and so like you go there to get your like main missions once you become a Scion, once you join that group, and that kind of becomes your headquarters or base for the game. And so this is kind of the theme that plays there in that area. So
it's also kind of like it has this sense of mystery to it because at this time, like many of the Scions are like they're very mysterious people. You don't know, like they're clearly like heroes and they have long histories, but you have no idea who the hell they are.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes into that.
That's interesting.
That's kind of a nice story element of the game is you join this group, but like you're not totally sure, like you understand what the group's actual goals are.
Interesting.
It's almost like if I'm not mistaken, I think, is it Ul'dah? Like the rulers there who want you to kind of, am I remembering this right? Like they're a little bit suspicious of the Scions, and maybe I'm totally misremembering this.
I don't remember right, but I don't remember exactly, but it might be correct. I mean, because the Ul'dah people are kind of sketchy, and the Scions are the good guys after all.
Yeah.
So like, that makes sense. Like, but the only thing you know about the Scions is that they're all fucking hot.
Yeah,
like they're all every one of them is like so hot, and you're like, okay, well, these guys seem cool, and then they're the best.
To give a little bit of background on them, their job basically is to like keep an eye on the different bestial races that sort of live outside of the main areas, who continually try to summon what they call primals. They're like their individual gods of their tribe or whatever, which are Ifrit and Ramu, Shiva, like the traditional summons.
Yeah.
And so Titan is so Ifrit and Titan are, I think, the first two that you fight. And so anyways, they keep an eye on them, and anytime they're summoned, they go there and try to like defeat them before they wreak havoc or whatever.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, so that's what the Scions are, and you join this group, and this is kind of their...
Dude, it's really, really good, like, because like the way they gave character to these beast tribes is also incredible. Like there are some of the most tragic and most, not necessarily just tragic, just the most cool stories in Final Fantasy XIV have the beast tribes as protagonists of the story, and you're just there witnessing, and you're like, whoa, that's an interesting, perspective. That's the thing I like about Final Fantasy XIV in general. It makes you meet so many characters in so many situations, and it gets you to empathize with stories that are maybe different from what you are used to dealing with in your own life, right? So I think it's a very precious game for that.
42 was my next one, and I took this one down because I thought the instrumentation in this was really unique. They're using a lot of what would be maybe tribal sounding instruments. It's just, it's real, it stands out among the soundtrack as a whole, because these instruments I feel like are not used a lot. So it just kind of immediately stood out to me. But I liked this one a lot. And then the next one I took down was Primal Judgment, which is the first primal you fight. This is the Ifrit boss fight. So this is actually...
That's a Uematsu track, I think.
Yeah, you're right. This came from 14.1.0. They kept this one. And so I wrote down a quote from Soken on this. Creating any song for Final Fantasy XIV requires a lot of hard work and concentration. So, because he was asked which was like more memorable or the most difficult kind of songs to produce. He says, out of all the tracks, though, the primal battle songs are particularly challenging. Each song has to follow the transitions in phases of combat. And so it's extremely difficult from both a composition perspective and a technical standpoint. Now, you'll hear this more in the Titan boss songs. I think there's like a stretch of like 4 tracks in a row that each like are used in each phase of that fight. But this one here, Primal Judgment, was, like you're saying, from 1.0. So I think this is the only Ifrit battle track. Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. So this one doesn't change in themes like in phases like the other ones do. But yeah, this is one of the one that's carried over.
To be fair, also like the fight, it was fairly more easy compared to Titan. So, you know, you wouldn't feel as much the fact that, okay, it's just one track. You're fine.
46 was my next
45
one.
real quick.
Yeah, 45.
I have a question. When does track 45 play?
Hold on, let me pull
in
it
the
up
game?
Here it is. What's the name of the track? Because it's in Japanese here and I can't read that.
It's I didn't write it. So this is Blue Whispers. It's in Japanese, and I didn't write the translation for this one, but it's like...
It's like the Final Fantasy main theme again, right?
The Blue Whisper.
That's a very good question. I can't remember specifically the place where this was. It's a short track. It's only 36 seconds long. It's very short.
But it's amazing. It's amazing, and
if I had to guess...
I want an insight into what that's about.
If I were to hazard a guess, that would come as sort of a punctuation to something like after the Ifrit fight, and it's like resolving that particular plot point, and it's kind of like easing us out of that chapter of the story or something, and then we'll get moving into the next one. But I don't know. I can't like imagine in my mind the specific scene where that...
Okay.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind with the Final Fantasy XIV soundtrack is that I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of how anime music is written like a menu. Have you ever heard about that?
No, I haven't.
So when you write music for a film, usually they give you the film, you have the whole thing, and then you have like 2 hours to score, and you write it to picture. So every cue you write usually is one for one scene. When you write for anime, sometimes they just tell you before you even see the anime, they tell you this is the story. We need 2 battle tracks, 2 set tracks, 3 nostalgic tracks. It's like a menu. They ask you for a menu of tracks without giving you context. You just write the menu tracks, and then they themselves will place that on the anime. And that's why on certain anime, you hear a theme multiple times in different situations.
This is probably how the Korean dramas too,
like
Secret
I remember
Garden was.
when we covered Metal Gear Solid,
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
there was
wanted
something
to
like that.
hire a Hollywood composer to work on it, but that was how he was given direction. He's like, write a sneaking theme, write, this type of thing. And he was like kind of confused about that process, but it makes so much sense that Hideo Kojima, Japanese video game creator, and in the Japanese industry, I would say, like a game industry, I would say probably a lot of music is approached the same way.
So now is kind of more like when you work on a game, you get to play the game. You sometimes get to tell them, hey, how about we write a theme here like this, whatever. But in Final Fantasy XIV, because it's such a long MMO and there's so many new pieces of content getting made every time, they do have this menu of music, this catalog that they end up reusing in different contexts. So maybe this theme that we just heard was intended for one thing, and then we may hear it in other times too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of music. There's a lot of music in this game that's used that way. You'll hear it in many different places or whatever, and it's just kind of meant to be that tone or flavor. Whenever they need something to feel like that, they just can plug this in. Yeah.
They say, so that's cool.
This may be one of those, but I didn't remember it. It's pretty cool though.
It's short, but it's just beautiful. And my next one's 48, but you had
46.
46.
Again, love the percussion in this one. Love this soft percussion. Yeah. And I wrote, because this is a real different flavor from anything we've heard so far. And I again, dynamism in the soundtrack. This is like kind of cute and homey. It's got this like really fun vibe to it that just came off of the back of a couple tracks ago, like a freaking huge primal battle against Ifrit. But I just liked this. I liked this feel, and all Final Fantasy soundtracks have a lot of range to them. That's one of like Uematsu's superpowers, right? Is he can like change, he can be switching in and out of genres and like doing a big rock ballad over here and then something like just totally wacky and crazy over here. And so I appreciated this this flavor, I guess.
Yeah, there's quite a few, like, I think Soken is a big fan of bossa nova.
Yeah.
And you can feel it in these sort of tracks. But yeah, it's a whole skill. Like, as a composer, I always get the feeling that your music is only as good as the music that you listen to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right? I agree
So
with
input
that.
You're only
equals
limited-
output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a problem of game composers, and I mean me firsthand. I grew up listening to a lot of video game music. And I listen to a bunch of other music as well, but I have a lot of video game music that I like. So when I write music for games, sometimes I'm inspiring myself from other video game music. That's not a good. It's kind of incestuous,
see.
right? If you start getting inspired by things that have nothing to do with games and you bring them to games, you get something like this.
Something more creative.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't know how much bossa nova there is in games, but Soken brings that sound to it.
Nice.
Yeah. Uematsu did as well in a lot of his soundtrack.
Yeah, with Costa del Sol and stuff.
Yeah, Costa del Sol.
Hall of Novice 48, I think you pointed that one up. This is the one that
48, yeah.
uses the Final Fantasy II battle theme in it.
Yes.
So
This is such a clever mix, version of the song.
you got like this. I think this is like a
Samba.
tutorial area, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
It's called Hall of Novice, so I'm thinking it's somewhere in Gridania where like you can kind of like practice or something. So they're kind of using a more upbeat and sort of like fun sort of beat there, right? You know, those horns are really cool. But it's a remix, which is one of the best pieces of that game. I think it's my favorite battle track of the NES trilogy. So I really love this original that this is based on. But I love how he mixes that in. Like the sounds that sound like that sort of, it's not an NES sort of square wave, but it gives that feel to it.
It feels like it.
So he's mixing the digital sort of like OG sound with the live instruments that
This trumpet has to be live, right? Can you do that heavy, crazy vibrato?
you can if you are really dedicated to making it sound human. But I wouldn't be surprised if certain instruments like that were just recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, to sort of like
So there are sometimes certain trumpet libraries that are recorded with that specific articulation,
I see that jazz.
but they might also be people who recorded it live. But if it's recorded live, these are multiple trumpets, I think. So he either stacked himself recording multiple times, or he hired a big band orchestra, or it's a sample library that does this. But dude, let's talk about that freaking double bass though.
oh yeah, it's awesome.
Freaking crazy. The hell is going on here?
yeah.
It's all over the place. Moving up
Amazing.
and down, up
The
and down.
That's
upright bass.
crazy. That is cool though.
Yeah. I was just talking with my wife yesterday, so we were at the park, right? And I can't remember why we ended up talking about it, but she was listening to something and she's like, oh, that's a cello. I was like, oh, that's actually a double bass. And so I was explaining the differences between the double bass, which is the larger, like the biggest string instrument, versus the cello, which can look similar if you're just like looking at someone sitting down with this giant thing. But double bass is an awesome instrument. I freaking love it.
Yeah, so round. Like this makes me think of something I wanted to talk about. When I played live with Soken, it was 2 times. One time was at the fan festival with my friend Husky by the Geek and the Primals and everything. But before that, there was a Final Fantasy XIV preview event in Los Angeles, and Soken was gonna go on stage to do a bit about the music, and they asked me to do it with him. And then Soken asked me, "Hey, do you want to play something together?" And he sent me some MIDI files of he was gonna play piano, and he's asked me to play bass on it. And it was like one of the themes from Final Fantasy XVI. And I sent back a recording of me playing bass over the piano. And he was like, "This is great, but if you change this note of the bass and this note of the bass like this, it's gonna imply this other harmony, and it's gonna sound even cooler." I was like, "Holy shit!" And I already spent quite some time figuring it out on the bass. Like I play bass, okay. But when I did those changes, I was like, yo, this sounds way better. This guy pays attention to bass to a degree that is insane. Like, so melodic and so, like, it's not random. He thinks about harmony and melody to a degree that is like freaking crazy. Like, he's playing 4D chess while we're playing checkers. And this appears in all of his music. And this is an example.
I always love it when composers and bass players are sort of allowed to express themselves in the music and not just be relegated to sort of sitting on like the chord progression notes, the four note chord progression, and just play those 4 notes over and over and over and over and over again, where they get to actually move and express something, because it does sit so far often underneath everything that a lot of laymen might not even be able to pick it out.
But yeah, you wouldn't, but like you will feel it, right? Because the bass determines the harmony, right? So if this happens a lot in JRPG music, like people oftentimes, and again, there's this stigma against orchestral music in video games, which partly I don't understand, but partly I do. Music in JRPGs is often orchestral, but you have these sort of elements. You have like a bass guitar playing alongside the orchestra, and it's doing insane things on the bass. And so the harmony that it implies is way more colorful than what you would hear sometimes in a Western soundtrack, right? So people can't usually tell what exactly is happening, but they will feel it. Like when there's a really cool bass line, they will feel it, and they will just feel like, this track is so alive. Well, it's because the bass player, or like whoever wrote the harmony, right, is doing a great job.
Yep, great stuff. Let's see. My next one here is going to be 58. So I skipped about 10 tracks. Anyone have stuff between that?
I do, but it's not important.
Okay. 58 is Ruby Sunrise. This plays in the Costa del Sol of Final Fantasy XIV.
Very cool.
So it's got kind of that beach town vibe to it. I think this is a place where they would do sort of celebratory events when they do those occasionally in the MMO.
I see.
They do them here a lot of times. So it's kind of a place that people gather and, hang out and check out sort of new content that's occasionally put in for different celebrations. And
cool.
Nice little cozy place. And again, just a nice additional flavor to the soundtrack. My next one is going to be coming up to the Titan boss fight, 63 through 67. You guys got anything in between there?
No. I don't. My next one is until 80.
Start talking about the good stuff.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. If you read my notes before, I think you did, Alex.
I did, yeah.
Grunge is not my favorite genre in the world.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm not saying that this is like straight grunge or something like that necessarily, but there's definitely those grunge influences. And part of it, and this is why I'm excited to get your take on this, Alex, because I feel like you'll teach me something about maybe Soken's process. I feel like grunge music often feels like it's building to something that never comes.
That is probably the entire philosophy of grunge, actually. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's like playing something that feels like it's going to rise, and it just like never rises. It just kind of almost falls and just kind of stays there. And so there's almost an anticipation I have, probably conditioned by maybe popular music. There's a conditioning I have to like, okay, when's the climax coming? When's the beat gonna drop? When's it's gonna hit? And it just kind of doesn't. It just kind of like keeps going.
So how does that make you feel?
There you go.
It's unresolved, I would say. It's a feeling.
But like when you listen to that, like how you?
Oh, like just personally when I listen to it, I guess I just feel. I feel like it's I'm waiting on something. It's a feeling of being unresolved that I'm like irritated. Like get there.
Like unfulfilled or yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember the Titan fight? Not the normal version, but the hard version? Did you do
I don't know if I did the hard version when I played it. I think I only did the normal.
I listened to it, the music here though.
So imagine this, right? You're fighting this boss on top of this cliff thing, and literally anytime, he can knock you out of the arena, you fall down, you die, and you can never go back.
That's right, because the arena you're fighting on kind of gets smaller and smaller. So
in the story fight, it doesn't knock you out. Like, you can die, you can get resurrected, but in the hard mode, if you fall, you're done, and the team can never resurrect you. So you're feeling uneasy because the music is wanting you to feel uneasy. The lyrics of the Titan theme are saying "bow down, Overdweller," and those lyrics are written from the perspective of the beast tribe, the Summon Titan, and they're telling you, the player, bow down to our god. So the music is just trying to make you feel bad, terrible, and giving this anticipation of something that will happen, but you don't know if it will happen. And the thing that can happen is you freaking fall down and you never return. So I'm like, the music is, you're supposed to feel bad.
Yeah, now that's a very, very interesting way to put it. Now that you mention that, I do remember that being like a mechanic of that fight where, like, because a lot of the boss fights in Final Fantasy XIV do, I would say almost all of them do area of effect attacks, obviously, because you have a lot of players and they're trying to hit like everybody in an area. Yeah. So the idea is you'll get these big rings that come up that sort of telegraph if you're standing in that area, you're going to get hit. Yeah. And so it gives you a moment to like get out of the area of effect. But with the stage becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, your ability to get out of the area of effect lessens as it goes on, right? And so like it gets to the point where towards the end of the fight, let me just kind of skip through here. It's just like each one of these.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're 2 measures into this.
Yeah. And we're keeps looping.
3 measures into this. There's a little something different. Okay, but it's
like a Rage Against the Machine kind of like guitar effect.
And then
and it's kind of the feeling that you're trapped, and you are trapped in there with Titan.
That's the word.
That's the way to put it. Trapped. You're trapped.
Grunge music. There's a reason it didn't last that long. The grunge era is like 5 years, and then
in the fans of grunge music, which I'm not an expert of. Later
I had like Pearl Jam and Nirvana and whatever, but I wasn't.
In the future expansions where you hear the Nirvana vibes, it possibly won't make you feel trapped. It goes somewhere. I think the Titan is really just like, the game is making you feel like this is the worst thing you ever faced, and it is until this moment.
That's a good way to put it. So here's another one.
Dude, but that guitar tone is amazing.
It's a nice tone. I do agree. This is a nice guitar tone.
I would love to achieve that tone on my amp.
Sounds so massive.
Yeah. I forget all this stuff. So I busted out the guitar to show my kids. I suck now. My fingers are all slow, and I'm like, I used to be good, I promise. I can still play like, I don't know, Sweet Child of Mine or something. Yeah. And the kids think it's cool, but I also don't want them to get into that music. So I'm like, what do I play that's like not, that kind of stuff? But I'm like messing with the knobs, and I'm like trying to get the right tone, and I'm like, I forget how to get a good tone from an amp now. I can't remember. There's like 12 knobs to turn. I've totally forgotten it, but this is a really good sound.
I'm going to skip to 67, which is the finale here.
Yeah.
There's something I want to talk about this one, but let's play it probably first.
Yeah, this is where you get that
you get the vocalist, right?
That vocal.
The one I was talking about before.
Yeah, but I don't know what he's saying, but...
Bow down, kind of a thing. To Titan. And they'll say the name of the primal a lot. Bow down, Titan. Yeah. Bow down, Titan. Yeah.
That distorted voice.
Yep, that's a very Rage Against the Machine sort of.
That's true.
Feel to it. I like this
one. It's so funny.
Yeah. It does remind me.
This is pretty crazy.
It does remind me of the 90s. There was a lot of music like this in the 90s.
There was, yeah. And this part reminds me a little bit of the Death Note season 1.
Yeah, the season 2 opening where they changed it.
The What Up People.
Yeah. What up, people?
This is a good moment to talk about something. The guy singing now is not Soken. It's a guy called Michael Christopher Koji Fox, and he's the lead translator of Final Fantasy XIV. And what happens in Final Fantasy XIV is oftentimes the lyrics to the songs are written by Koji Fox. Sometimes he sings them as well, not always. But when you hear vocal themes for bosses in Final Fantasy XIV, what you will notice is that the vocals are always kind of filtered. Like you guys mentioned before that you can't understand what the lyrics are. You can't understand what they're saying, right? And people sometimes notice this and they're like, why are they filtering the vocals like this? It doesn't make sense. It's just, it doesn't make the song sound better, right? But actually, that's a game design choice. The idea being that I want to prove this point by playing another track. Can you guys look for a different track and play it outside of this playlist? Okay, so look for a track from a game called The World Ends With You. The track is called We're Losing You. It's a banger. You can just play a few. It's very loud. You can just play a few seconds of it.
We're losing. Here it is.
This is a boss battle theme. It's insane. Pretty strong.
I played this game once.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
But
I don't
yeah.
remember it. I don't remember it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't hear it, but can you guys hear it?
Yes. Oh, can you
Because
not
you're
hear
only
it?
sharing the one tab.
Oh, because I'm sharing the tab.
So you
We
gotta-
hit
my
it.
bad.
We got it though.
Yeah, we're
Doesn't
hearing
matter.
it now.
You got it perfect. So you heard how loud those vocals are and everything. The guitar.
That is a full sound.
Yeah.
Exactly. So imagine hearing this for 30 minutes uninterrupted. You will die.
30 minutes.
But that's
I would hate it.
Fight bosses in Final Fantasy XIV, like Titan, you were in there for 30 minutes, sometimes 1 hour, especially if it's like a really hard fight. So Soken's methodology is like, I gotta make sure that the track is less invasive as possible, especially the vocals are the element that if they keep looping, you will realize. That's why they are very filtered, so you don't really hear the transients too much, you don't hear the lyrics too much, so they don't distract you. That's why it's like that. Even the guitars, like they're heavy as hell, but they're very soft in terms of how they were filtered. And one person may think, oh, the mixing is not the way I like it. No, it's mixed this way so you don't go crazy. But because if you have a track like We're Losing You, which in The World Ends With You, it plays for like 5 minutes and the boss is dead or something. If you play it in 14, like that's too much. But when you go to the Primals shows or when you hear the Primals albums, you hear these tracks and it's completely unfiltered. It's super heavy. It's way more aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's why it
that
sounds like
makes
this.
total sense.
Makes sense.
I mean, already like this, listen to this for an hour makes me go crazy.
Yeah.
If it
So
was
he
unfiltered, like We're Losing You.
It's
Yeah.
like he wants that edge. He wants that heavy feel, but he doesn't want it to just like
Grate on
fatigue your ears
Yeah.
for 30 minutes. So he's trying to like write a balance. That's
Yeah.
really
So
interesting.
I can imagine that when he writes the song, he maybe writes it without filters, and then when he has to put it in the game, he starts to filter it out.
I see. And then, you know, one note on the fact that it's the lead translator's voice in this song in Final Fantasy X. Alexander O. Smith.
Oh, that's right.
His voice is in the heavy metal song at the beginning
Yep.
of Final Fantasy X
Yep.
when Tidus is playing. Yeah, that's Alexander O. Smith's voice when he, and also heavily, what did you call it? You can't tell what he's saying.
Filtered,
very
distorted,
Yeah, heavily
yeah.
filtered. Yeah, just, you know, look after the world of today and whatever he's saying.
that's
it doesn't
it?
matter. That's Alexander O. Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a newscaster,
Here,
but it's the
here
translator.
Here it's Koji and Soken together, I think. And in the rap verse, it's Koji by himself. And he told me the story of like when Soken asked him to sing on songs, because that happens in the future as well. And he told me once he was like practicing some rap vocals for Final Fantasy XIV while walking across a park in Tokyo or something. And he's like, people thought I was crazy. Just rapping to myself about like a primal. It's like, what? That's just like what working as Square Enix is like, I suppose.
I like this part a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was right before this.
Oh, the flanger kind of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right here. Well, just this part too, the syncopated kind of like tight percussion, but this part. I love that sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I used a flanger chord, I was like, this is dope. Or
Yeah.
pedal. On
Yeah.
the guitar. It was cool.
Freaking awesome.
It's a Tekken battle theme. But
there
again,
you
this is Soken being such a sound wizard.
Yeah.
But yeah, this theme is a standout because this was the first time in Final Fantasy XIV where you had a theme where there are vocals in it, and the vocals are representing the characters in the fight. In this case, they're representing the tribe. There's some other primal themes where the vocals represent the primal itself, telling you their story. There's some primals who are singing about how you should worship them. It's some are really funny, some are really tragic. And they end up being the most popular tracks in Final Fantasy XIV, always. This was the primogenitor of them.
Let's see. I'm going to go to 69
I only
real
have
quick.
7 left.
So I spent a lot of time in this area. It's Coerthus, I think is the name of it. So this is the Central Highlands. And this is where I took the note. I kind of touched on this earlier, but where you have these instruments like organs and things like that that are kind of generally used to feel like oppressive and just like uneasy. But I still feel a sense of relaxation listening to this. It's crazy.
As soon as you said it, I'm like, yeah. Yeah,
And-
it's not like beating the heart.
It feels more like royalty in this context, right? The organ and the harpsichord and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, again, it's kind of a cousin of what we were just talking about. You're going to listen to this for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's got to be softened in ways that give it a warmth and a way to feel like you can kind of sit in it and relax and live there.
Even when it's
trying to be kind of creepy and oppressive.
Right.
Or maybe you guys just relax when you feel oppressed. I don't know.
Maybe that's it.
Oh, geez, that might be it.
Maybe I like it. Maybe there's a little masochism to me or something.
No, I agree with you, actually. This is really, really chilled.
Yeah, and like that vocal right there, it's just very pleasant. It's very soft. It's very ethereal. Even though you got that like real big organ underneath it, right?
So I'll tell you one story. According to the credits, and by the way, for people who are really curious about credits, there's a website called VGMDB where you can find soundtracks and their credits like listed amazingly. So on VGMDB, there's a girl credited on this one called Akane Ikeya, who I think did the vocals of that vocal bit we just heard before. And I think she's a staff member of Square. She's like a game designer. And I guess Soken might have asked her, hey, do you want to do some vocals or something? And this happens throughout the Final Fantasy XIV soundtrack. Sometimes you have tracks where you have these vocalists that come on and do really cool shit. And they're just people who happen to be employed at Square. And the reason why sometimes they go for people who are employed at Square is there's no time to make those tracks. You really have a quick turnover. So there's been multiple occasions where Soken asks, hey, can anybody help me with this? I need someone who can sing in this technique, this register. And people just show up and then he records them and they do amazing. And this is one of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really, really great.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like, hey, does anybody here happen to have a voice that sounds like an angel? I do. Oh. And everybody just points to the girl in the corner who's really shy and quiet. And then it's like, holy cow. That's so fun.
My next one here is 76 Thunderer.
Okay.
My note on this is, this sounds like it came straight out of The Dark Knight.
Dude, that's what I was about to say. I made a note for this.
Does that not sound like it comes out of freaking a Nolan Batman movie?
It sounds exactly like Nolan. Like Hans Zimmer Nolan.
Yeah, like Hans
Yeah, the
Zimmer's.
Zimmer Nolan.
It's crazy.
And then even those drums. Da, da, it just needs to step up and it would totally be Batman. That's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Do you think the placeholder for this track
was
the Dark Knight?
It could be, but it could also be that just Soken loved it and he just chose to do something similar. I do this all the time. Like you take a track you like and
then you get the choir there, which is very much more Final Fantasy.
Which is not Nolan, yeah.
Yeah, but also the prelude, right? Did you hear it?
Yes, I heard that. There was a little brief prelude.
Anyway, I thought that was fun. 82.
That's totally
80.
Batman
I
infused,
want
yeah.
80. Just another one because 80 shows the prelude again in a really clever way. I just like this song, by the way.
I like this melody here. Yeah.
And is this a theme that I should be recognizing? There you go. There's the prelude.
There it is.
But not the harp. Now it's the flutes and the woodwinds kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
But he kind of steps up and then din-na-na-na, din-na-na-na, and then, but it's all the prelude.
I'm trying to remember when this plays. This sounds a little bit like, this is pretty close to the point where you get airship travel, but
It sounds like an air.
Yeah,
it might have
I
been
think it
before.
might be, yeah.
No, it was before
Actually,
that.
it is.
Oh, is it?
It is, because this is about close to Garuda, and that's when you get the airship.
Yeah.
Well, the blue, I think when it talks about blue here, that it's referring to
like the skies.
Yeah, the skies. So it's called Blue Wings, is what this is called. Blue Wings in the kanji.
Yeah, that must be it.
That must be it.
So I don't know what else you can refer to.
I have 82.
Yeah, 82, Fallen Angel. I have this one too.
Oh, okay.
I love this one. Do you want to give
again,
your
that
thoughts
Bach
on this
organ.
one, Alex?
So hear this. Wait, hear this riff that comes in now. In a second on the guitar.
Once again,
Is
the
this
prelude.
this is the Gerudo fight, right? The Gerudo fight.
Yeah. Let it rip.
It's gonna come in
Give it a few seconds.
right here. This actually reminds me of the Crisis Core soundtrack a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
Actually, oh my god, I never thought about that.
Yeah, it totally does.
so did you guys play Final Fantasy XVI?
Yes.
All right. The Garuda fight featured this same riff.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, on orchestra. For just like a 10, 15 seconds as a callback to Final Fantasy XIV.
Interesting. I at the time that I played Final Fantasy 16, I hadn't played 14.
You hadn't done this?
No, yes I did, because I played it right
then?
before because I wanted to like get to know the developers and their style a little bit.
That's right.
I think I
yeah.
did a review of it like right before 16 came out.
Okay.
So I should have known that, and I did not.
Well, it's very subtle, but it's a thing.
This is cool.
Yeah,
this is cool.
This is a cool battle, though. In this battle, there's obviously Garuda's sort of a primal that's the element that she is. She's the like wind element, right?
Okay.
So she like blows wind at you. So there's like these stones you kind of have to hide behind during certain phases to not like take wind damage and stuff.
Yeah.
This is just one of the more memorable boss fights of the main game to me. Yeah, I really liked this one a lot, and the design is great too.
Yeah, the music lifts it up quite a bit, but also, yeah, I agree with you.
Let's see. I got 83 right afterwards. Frontiers Within. I love this one a lot. That sense of flight with those string runs at the beginning.
Yeah.
I love those string runs. This feels very much like a... It gives me the same feeling as like classic Final Fantasy games when you unlock the airship.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like free to like go all over the world now.
Right.
And I
Always
think those
the coolest
string
part.
runs doodle-doo, has something to do with it. I think a lot of those classic Final Fantasy games, I think maybe 6 had it, 7 definitely. They have kind of those string runs at the beginning. That give you like the sense you're taking
12,
off somewhere.
I think 12 had, yeah.
Yeah. So I liked that.
Dude, you're so on the nose, it's like crazy. Like, I'm thinking, you know, I can imagine a world where Soken actually wrote this as the airship theme, and then they chose to use it in Mordona instead. Because this plays in Mordona, the city.
Yes, it is.
I
It
see.
comes
But I
in.
can imagine a world, because like there's so much about this theme that feels like elevation.
Yes, like you're rising up somewhere or ascending.
Yeah, dude, I can totally tell you're a composer. Like you mentioned before, you wrote music. I'm like, yeah, you still have it in you, dude.
In another life, in another universe, that was the career path I chose. I do still want to do in some professional capacity. At some point in my life, I would love to compose for a game or something, even if it's just adding a couple of tracks.
Hey, it's never too late, man.
87 is my next one. You guys got anything in between there?
No.
I got 85 just to
Okay,
play it for
85.
like 10 seconds.
Let's go to 85.
Let me
there.
tell me if it makes you think of another movie.
Oh, wait a minute.
There is some Lord of the Rings happening here with that French horn, but
With the choir and the horn. I don't know if I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking.
We can stop here.
Okay.
So this is more vibes. Lord of the Rings is actually accurate. I didn't think about it, but to me, it made me feel like makes me think about the Gladiator, just in terms of vibes.
You're
Gladiator.
totally right. Yes.
I
It
haven't seen that
sounds
in
so
too long.
Roman. I don't know.
Yeah, you're totally right. I should have
it's
thought of that.
way too long.
I
But
wanted-
that was,
I wanted
that was Hans
to,
Zimmer back in the day, right?
Yes, it was. I wanted to revisit both Troy and the Gladiator before seeing the Odyssey. Just to kind of like get all those classic sort of like movies or whatever. But I didn't return to it, and I think I would have had I would have recognized what you're talking about had I.
Just in terms of vibes. Like I don't think the composition is similar, but I just feel the
Yes,
you know?
you're totally right, though.
Yeah.
Totally agree. All right, 87, Crystal Rain. I love the reverb on this one. It's really nice and really nice, pleasant reverb. I feel like on this one.
Yeah, there's like a reverse
delay.
Yeah, reverse delay happening.
Yeah.
That like leads into the note. Really.
Yep.
Really
Yeah,
cool.
that kind of.
Yeah.
Yep. And it kind of comes into it. Yeah. Yeah. You heard it there.
Yeah.
And right there. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for, I guess, crystallization. I don't know. Just like these shards just coming together.
Yes, and it's called Crystal
I see.
Rain, which really fits. I just love piano pieces like this too. You need a piano, like a solo piano piece in every RPG.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Mallow's theme from Mario RPG.
So this next one that I put,
I had 90.
we talked about this in Final Fantasy XIV
We
1.0.
did. We just need to touch on it briefly.
Good King Mog. This is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, 100%. Which is the guy who did Simpsons. What's his name? The guy who did The Simpsons.
Oh, the composer?
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
But the same guy.
Of The Nightmare Before Christmas is Danny Elfman.
Danny
Elfman, right?
Elfman.
Danny Elfman. That
Yes.
was it. Yeah, Danny Elfman.
Even like the voices there
I
sound so
know.
much like Nightmare Before
Oh,
Christmas.
dude,
so
this is
funny.
definitely
Which
very
I
inspired
love
by that.
Nightmare Before
And it's not
Christmas.
even trying it's not trying to hide it.
It's not hiding it at
No,
all.
it's totally. It's just like an homage, basically. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like you would have never imagined the Mughals to be associated with Nightmare Before Christmas. But if you do this fight, you will understand they're a fucking nightmare. I hate them.
Yes. 100%. It totally fits.
Because
for, like, the part of the
basically
game.
this song mocks you as you keep dying to this fluffy motherfucker.
Well, Mog, the Moogle here, is a primal, right? So it's like
Oh,
all the
interesting.
bestial tribes of the world have like their primal. It's
And
like
so
their
theirs is
god.
King
So
Mog.
theirs is King Mog, right? which is a summon classically in Final Fantasy. Is the big Moogle,
Sure, right,
kind of like
yeah,
the big
yeah.
chocobo. Sometimes you get as a summon. So that's what's going on with this
Yeah.
one, which is kind of fun. 93.
98 is my next one.
Okay, I had 93, which is Cracks in the Wall. And I said I
this is the
love
old castle.
the percussion and the staccato piano on this one. Like the percussion is really interesting. It's a little different.
It's mixed very forward. Like
Yes.
you feel like
It's
you're
very
next to
forward.
the...
It feels so close.
Yeah.
But it's not loud. It's close,
And that,
but not loud.
that really like percussive piano.
Yeah.
It's like it's that technique where I don't know if you've ever done this on a piano where you're hitting the same note an octave
And you're
above
just-
and below.
yeah,
and you just kind of like
shaking
rock.
your
You
hand.
kind of rock between them. I love
Yeah, it's a
that.
tremolo, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, tremolo, yeah. I had a
I think,
word for
yeah.
it, but I'm not going to say it because it's...
You can do it on
offensive.
guitar as well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Or in bass. There's a whole technique to that with bass.
And then this
too.
part's crazy. It's just awesome. I freaking love it.
Damn, dude. That's insane.
You get that, and then that low end underneath
Yeah.
it is really like threatening. It's really low. It's
Yeah.
definitely like a low double bass, kind of paired with the low ends of the piano that give it like a really threatening, harsh kind of like low end.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I like a
to
lot.
Alex's point earlier about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago or so, that would get so... It's good that was a short song.
Yes.
Like that has to be a short song. You can't do that type of foreboding, threatening feeling and just live there for 30 minutes. Yeah.
You said 96 was your next one?
98.
98. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 98 is mine too. Yeah, great.
Yes. Do you
I'm
have
gonna see.
96?
I'm gonna see if 96 is worth listening to real quick. I mean, it is, but I just love the electric keyboard in this one. This is very Uematsu to me.
It is.
That is a Uematsu
the,
track.
the whole sound of this, yeah, it's just an old FF song.
So that was my only note on that.
Well, that
Okay.
was my
Yeah,
note
that's a good one.
for this one on track 98 as
98.
well. I say the mixes of old Final Fantasy songs are not lost on me. I'm not pointing them out everywhere I hear them.
Love the horns on this one.
But this one mixes in some old Final Fantasy here. It's really cool.
I'll tell you what it is. I mean, I think you know already.
Is it coming in right here?
Shouldn't be too long.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Final Fantasy 3.
It's the Crystal Tower theme.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
The amount of attention that is given to the older Final Fantasy games within the soundtrack of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn is something I was maybe hoping for in the 1.0, and that is being delivered to me here in the FF14 2.0.
Ah, gotcha.
These references, this something that, like, there's one way to make it feel Final Fantasy, which is to just make music that sounds very Final Fantasy-esque, right? But then what Soken does as he steps into his first ever Final Fantasy game is he just takes the melodies from these older games, tons of them, and he just weaves them into his pieces.
Yeah.
There's a reason, like every Final Fantasy XIV expansion is in big chunks inspired by specific mainline FF titles, and part of the story reference them very heavily in a way that feels integral to the 14 universe. And it's let me tell you, the Crystal Tower here is iconic, but then many expansions later it's gonna feel like the fucking 10-year cook. And I'm not gonna tell you why. I'm just gonna tell you there's a reason for this stuff.
Well, they have a whole Final Fantasy Tactics raid, don't they, as well?
In Stormblood.
Yeah, they have in each expansion they kind of revisit a theme from a previous classic FF game. And so the main game of A Realm Reborn has the Crystal Tower, which is an FF3 reference.
Well, my understanding of Final Fantasy XIV, the way I've seen ads for it and the way people talk about it and the way I've seen, where like Return to Ivalice was a big part. That was 10 years ago, but still, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. But it's almost like these MMOs are kind of like medleys. They're kind of like greatest hits of all the games before them.
A lot of people describe it as a theme park.
Okay,
like
sure.
Like a Final Fantasy theme park.
This soundtrack helps that theme, helps to hammer that idea home.
Yeah.
Did you ever see like the trailer for Endwalker?
Yes.
I don't know
that's the one where they go to the moon, right? They show them like on
There's
the
a paladin on the moon.
Yeah.
If you play Final Fantasy like the old ones, you know what that means, right?
They're always going to the moon, man. Several of them.
No, but like there's one Final Fantasy specifically where you are a paladin and you go to the moon.
FF4.
F4 is it? Yeah.
Endwalker is a Final Fantasy IV love letter. In a way that doesn't feel cheesy. Like it's really integral to the story, but it's really cool. And even the soundtrack will have some 4 themes. So like you're gonna love, dude, you gotta play this. You gotta play them, man.
That's so funny.
I got 100 here, Tumbling Down. This is another Final Fantasy II remix.
Oh, yeah.
I love this battle theme. It's really, really good. Anyway, it was just a reference there. 102, Machinations. This is another one of those where you just hear it a lot because you're in this area a lot at the end of the game. Is this in the Empire? Like when you actually like go in there towards the end of the game? I feel like
no,
it is.
You will hear this forever. Like every time the protagonists start planning some plan.
Oh, that's right. They use it a lot. They use it a lot all throughout the game. Yeah.
But it kind of has the sound of the Mordona area, but then you just keep hearing it.
Yeah, I just remember hearing this one a lot towards the end of the game because they're making all their plans often about how they're gonna, overcome the Empire and stuff.
Do the thing with the Empire, yeah.
Yeah, so this vibe gave me memories of that kind of thing. 108 is my next one.
I had 107.
107? Okay, let's play that one.
We just play it for a little bit. It's a very long one. But this is another one of those songs. 14-minute song. Like a lot of these songs he wrote are so long. Like you can take the easy way out and just write these loops, or you can do what Soken does and just write a really long, like tons of really long songs that can have all the different subtleties as they play throughout. Yeah. But I thought this one was really good, and I don't have specific time codes. Just the song was great, and it changes, and it feels like if you just skip to the middle of it or a third in or something, like just a very different feel.
Yep.
Like the dynamics that you were talking about, the dynamics are just so present in all of these longer tracks that he's doing.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a harpsichord?
Kind of sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's pulling in stuff that. But it all fits, and when you listen to it, we don't have time for that.
Or maybe a dulcimer, actually. Sorry.
Oh, a dulcimer. Okay, sure. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
kind of associated with that. What's the term for it?
Like a court.
Well, the area where Dracula comes from.
Oh, Transylvania, Romania.
Transylvania,
kind of, yeah,
Romanian
the dulcimer is kind of Slavic
feel to it.
Yeah, it's got a Slavic flavor. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 108 is my next one, and this is one of the boss fights in kind of the final gauntlet. I didn't pick very many battle themes until the end.
Neither. Yeah, me too. And then I picked several at the end.
So these next two are my favorite ones.
Okay.
So this is against one of the officers of the Empire, but the next one is the final boss, which is Ultima.
Okay.
And Ultima is my absolute favorite freaking track, maybe of the whole game, outside of Ulda's like day theme or whatever, or night theme, either one of those. I'll just go straight to this one, Maker's Ruin.
This is the generational banger.
My goodness, I freaking love this one. The melody on this one is so strong and so triumphant and heroic. Like, I get really pumped to fight when I hear this melody right here. Very, like, bright brass there.
Yeah.
Kind of like blaring that theme. I love this theme a lot. Because usually...
that bass is really...
Usually when you get
down.
like a final boss theme, right, the melody of that theme, think like One Winged Angel or something, is centered on the villain,
right,
and you know how intimidating that villain might feel. You get that rant, and it's very like, it's almost like horror-esque.
Yes,
but
or
this
Kafka.
is heroic in feel. It's
right.
more like a reflection of what the player is feeling in that moment of this is our time to like take this guy down.
I've never thought of it that way, but you're right. There's that second flavor. You don't see it very often.
Yeah.
Usually people just go for that intimidating, Darth Vader kind of soundtrack.
Right.
But this would fit just as well. It's like, who are we focusing on here?
Yeah, I feel like this final battle is very like player focused in terms of its emotion, rather than like characters facing the big bad of the story feel.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is the theme of you hitting level 50 and being a hero. It's like the promise that was made to you when you started the game that you were going to be a big hero. At this moment, fighting Ultima Weapon, you actually feel it. And that's what the music is telling you. It's legit. I think it is my favorite melody from the entirety of the Final Fantasy XIV series. It's really, really good.
It's really good. I really, really like it.
And also one thing I want to say is that sometimes when people hear choirs in video games now, they always assume that the choir must be singing something that makes sense. In this case, it does. In this case, it's actual lyrics. It's Latin. It's saying like, together we stand, together we die for the glory of the crystal, something like that. Because so when that happens, like when a choir sings real words, it's a live recorded choir. But when a composer uses a choir in music, it doesn't always say real words. Sometimes it's a choir that's coming from a sample library. So you can tell, like, if it doesn't make sense, it's a sample library. But when you hear a real choir like this, you're like, this track means a lot. And you're gonna hear the choir, like live choir in Final Fantasy XIV quite a bit in the most iconic themes in the future.
I think this was the first time 113 next, the Seventh Son. This is another use of the main Final Fantasy theme that I liked quite a bit, but this is like as the credits begin rolling in the game. So the heroes are kind of standing there, and you have your credits before like the black screen credits come on, where it's like playing like a scene, and the story's kind of wrapping up, and you get like the director's name and the composer's name,
and it's all artsy and
the
stuff.
Producer and stuff like that. So they're kind of all just standing around after having finished their quest, beating the final boss, and then the Final Fantasy theme comes in. In
but
a way
so
that just
different.
It feels
he's
triumphant and resolved.
He's teasing.
Yeah, you're right.
The FF theme.
It's coming. It's building up to it a little bit. There it is. Oh, not
See,
quite yet.
He's
not
still
quite
teasing
yet.
you.
He's still,
this guy. This guy. Come on, man.
There it goes. There it goes.
There you go.
And it feels triumphant, and it's resolving, and it's the end. That it
it's
gives
soft,
that feel to it, and I like it quite a bit. And then the one that comes right on the back of that, A Realm Reborn.
Ooh.
I put a time code for this one where I really love where it kicks in is at 38 seconds, because this builds into a enormous crescendo.
Yeah.
That is like basically when I think of A Realm Reborn, when I think of this version of Final Fantasy XIV, this is the sound I think of.
Yeah.
This big choir, right? This feels like the musical identity
Okay.
of Final Fantasy XIV right here. The choir and this.
The brass. The prelude. Oh my gosh.
I think they used that in a trailer for the game somewhere.
That is such an epic fanfare.
Wow.
Or actually,
I haven't heard that in a while.
did they use that in the opening movie? Isn't there like a little movie that plays on the title screen or something? You get like what's supposed to be the player character, the guy with kind of like the dark hair. And he's like leaps on what the chocobo kind of like over the landscape. And it's like the Realm Reborn. It's like the relaunch of Final Fantasy XIV. And I felt like that crescendo was used in that FMV sequence.
That's
I know what video you're talking about. I don't remember hearing it there, but I haven't seen that video in so long. I didn't remember hearing this theme at all, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
So,
That is
you
so
right.
cool. And the build-up is so intense.
Yeah.
That really ought to be
Yeah.
that ought to be saved for the very end of the game. Like instead of being tossed out willy-nilly in a
Well,
trailer.
yeah, using the victory fanfare in its like most triumphant voice.
The biggest possible version.
For the punctuation on and the credits begin rolling. Exactly. And then
what I noticed,
okay, go
so
ahead.
these last three songs are all really good. I put them all down. They're all homages to the main theme from 1.0.
Yes.
They all include those themes and leitmotifs. But how come we didn't get a medley of all the songs at the end of this one? The credits music is usually like a medley of all the songs, and it's a 20-minute track, and every Final Fantasy has been that way all the way forever. I was waiting for one of those, because those are often the most beautiful ones that kind of pull from everything and Is it because it's an MMO that there isn't something like that? Because the game doesn't actually end.
I don't
It just keeps
know. But I do know that And You, which is my next one, 115, this is what plays during the credits, I think.
Okay, but it's a 2-minute song. I was looking for a long...
This theme is used earlier in the game. I did notice that there were some. See, like that. That's the Ultima battle, right?
Yeah.
So like they bring that back again.
He does he does it all throughout. I'm not really complaining. The soundtrack is amazing. This is the best soundtrack I've listened to in a long time. But instead of putting it all into one track, it's just spread out all over, I guess.
Let's see, because you move forward a little bit from there and you'll get... Oh. Yeah. This is from another part of the game. So it is, but it's a shorter thing. It's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So there are a couple leitmotifs there, but it's not as expansive as kind of like what you're talking about.
As all-encompassing.
And then we're going to move into something else here. Yeah. The choir, that particular, like, I don't know what you call it, a style of singing or whatever, that type of choir.
Yeah, there's like a heavy vibrato.
It's all over Final Fantasy
live
16.
Japanese choirs.
It's what?
Like live Japanese choirs tend to, I mean, not always, but like in Soken's music, they have that sound.
That quality.
When they're live.
Yeah. And that's all over Final Fantasy 16. You hear that choir style quite a lot.
That's right.
By the way, I think the fans may lynch us alive because we skipped one theme.
Which one did we
Ultima
skip?
has two phases, right? I think track 110
the
possibly
other
was the
phase of
Ultima theme
Ultima,
where you
yes.
hear like his side of the story.
Yes, 110, 110, 110. There it is.
Oh yeah,
The second
theme.
phase of the Ultima fight.
I'd rather not get lynched
I like the
alive.
first one more.
What's that?
I like the first one more. like the
yes,
Maker's
I
Ruin.
agree. I think that's why I put 109 and then didn't put 110. But you're right. This is a fan favorite, and we should probably at least mention it.
And so these are real words, you tell me?
I'm not sure. This one's are.
Okay.
I don't think they are.
Well, if I'm not
It's hard to
mistaken,
tell
I
even
think
if they
that this
are.
game has a mixture of where, like, I'm trying to remember if I'm thinking of, maybe I'm thinking of, because you interviewed the composer of Nier as well. And he does a lot of that, like, fake language, and it'll sort of, like, interweave between, like, maybe some real words and some not. But I feel like this game kind of does that too, where there's an Eorzean language. That's what it is. There's like a language of Eorzea that was written, like it was a language that was created for the 1.0, but was never used in that game.
Really?
And so Koji Fox wanted to use that language in some of the songs on this. And I do believe that that's what's happening in this. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening in this.
I just heard. Yeah.
I will solve the arcane for you. Just give me a second. I'm loading something on my software to show you what I mean.
But this is definitely a keyboard.
Yeah, I'm pausing
choir.
it real quick.
That's not a live choir.
Yeah.
It's not a live choir. So let me show you. Let me see if it works. Basically, when you use... Okay, I'm gonna go back to my audio from before. Can you hear this?
I have that same library, by the way.
These are random syllables, like
Right.
so,
Yeah.
blah, blah, and whenever you play a note,
It's like lorem ipsum.
It's switching to the next, and you can sequence them. You can customize which syllables or like which
exactly.
things
So
they say
you
in
basically,
sequence.
composers sometimes sequence them to make certain sounds, but they don't mean anything, like because these are syllables. The choir you're hearing here in Ultima, I think, was made with similar sample libraries where you have these syllables. They sound amazing, but they don't mean anything. The previous track, Maker's Ruin, that had real people singing real lyrics, and that's when they asked them, hey, sing By the Light of the Crystal or something. But that's not the case with Ultima. It wasn't the Eorzean invented language either. It's just like a sample library. But many times I see people's comments sometimes on tracks where like, oh my God, what is the choir singing? I'm like, it's not singing anything. There are sometimes, like there's some libraries that allow you to write stuff. So for example, one time I was making a cover of a mixture of One Winged Angel and a theme from Kirby, because the joke was like, I'm writing the theme for Kirby Roth.
Yeah.
And I programmed the choir to sing Kirby Roth with a sample library that allows me to do that. But that takes so much time, so people actually just use these syllables. It doesn't mean anything. But when you have the money to pay for a live choir, and you do, the result is much better.
Yeah, I think I have that exact same choir library.
Metropolis Arc 1.
Yep. Let's see.
Which ones do you have next? I have a truck 119.
I have all of them: 16, 116, 117, 118, 120.
Yeah, I have the last
I'll
three.
let you guys pick what we listen to, because we still have to get a little bit into the patch ones. At least the highlights from that. At least the highlights. Like Thunder Rolls and like one or two other ones.
We can actually, so for me, we can skip to those directly, actually.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay.
These are all great. They're fantastic.
They're great, and I just wanted to point out they use the 1.0 theme, like the main theme of 1.0.
Was that Answers?
Answers, yeah, that was it. Answers.
They used it because I heard you in the podcast when you guys were like, oh, it's not super memorable. And I'm like, yeah, but when you hear it in the Final Fantasy XIV 2.0, because this was used in a dungeon where you could go once a week, and it was the hardest dungeon in the game. And so you heard it every time that week. And it was the most hype moment of the week. And it just became part of you at that point. And there were also many different arrangements of it.
I want to rescind whatever it was we said. I don't remember if it was in any way saying it's not memorable. I listened to it again yesterday.
It's stuck in my head.
And I was like, holy fetch, this is freaking amazing.
It's more memorable than I gave it credit for initially, because I'm like, I recognized it immediately, and then I was humming it afterwards. And I'm like, I just needed a few more times with it.
Yeah.
That's the Uematsu style. Like he himself says that he writes melodies that maybe don't hit you at first, but they will live with you at some point. And this is a perfect example, because I had the same impression. I'm like, oh, this theme is great, but then I didn't think about it for the longest time. Then I get to the Binding Coil of Bahamut, which is the part of the game where the dungeon where it gets used, and it just becomes, a permanent etched in my mind, basically.
Ah, yes. You know what I thought was interesting, because I was listening to this a little bit, was the track right before this, which I think is number 1, is like a very traditionally Japanese sounding thing with like the percussion and instrumentation. And then it goes into this kind of, again, sort of like grunge rock thing that he does on all the primals.
This song,
that juxtaposition was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Fooly Cooley.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting with this one.
Leviathan, that's what they're saying. Kind of similar to what when they were saying Titan, and the other one, right?
No, it's Leviathan.
So when I was having dinner with Soken, we were just talking about different things, and I asked him about a bunch of tracks that he wrote. There were a few tracks in Final Fantasy XIV that he wrote under a really serious crunch, like really like short time, right? And he told me this was possibly one of them, where they did the Leviathan fight, and they're like, "Oh, we need a theme for Leviathan," and he's like, "Oh, I got it." Went back to the studio, cooked this freaking masterpiece, delivered it, and it was put in the game. And then there's a remix of this theme on the album called Pulse, which is an EDM album with remixes by Soken and his junior composers. And the remix of this track specifically goes so fucking hard. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is a good one. This fight was good too. You're basically like on a ship, right? You're like on a ship and you go out into the ocean and fight it.
Nice.
And it's like attacking you on the boat. It's pretty cool. What's next?
Do you have trucks signed?
I didn't end up going into the track list and writing them down.
Okay,
in my
I
notes
can do it myself then. I have a bunch that I think are pretty good. So there's track number 9.
Oh, I love this one. Papaya, yes.
Yeah.
I freaking love this.
Yeah.
It's just another one of those like really funny, kind of goofy songs that like you need this in your RPGs, right?
Yeah.
I freaking love this one. I actually did choose this one in my original version of the notes before I had to fix everything, and then I lost all of my patch tracks. But I love Papaya.
That's a great one. Like it's basically a meme at this point. With
I
the
have
community
heard
and the
this one
devs as well.
before.
Oh, have you?
Just
there you go.
the meme quality. I have heard this in random places on the internet before.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, there you go. There's track 13, which is one that you also wrote down, I think, on the email.
Oh yes, Battle of the Big Bridge, reference to Final Fantasy V.
Nice.
Another reference to one of the classic FF
One of the
games.
old ones.
So this is probably the most famous song from Final Fantasy V.
Yeah.
From probably the most famous sequence from Final Fantasy V. It's performed all the time in like live events and stuff, live performances. Black Mages did a version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you actually fight Gilgamesh here, right?
Oh, in 14?
I feel like it. I remember you fight Gilgamesh at some point. It might have been this point,
because in Final Fantasy V you fight Gilgamesh on the Big Bridge. So like I would assume that you would fight Gilgamesh in FF14 for the same music, but I don't remember it super clearly.
No, I think you do fight him. I just don't remember where. But this may be it. Yeah, but it's been such a long time, dude. I don't really remember. At least you meet him for sure.
Well, I forgot a whole lot of the patch content because it is brutal to get through.
Really? Is that hard?
Because it's not that it's hard; it's that it's extremely tedious. Everyone agrees on this. It's Final Fantasy XIV fans like. There's that meme where the guy's like digging through and he's like right on the edge of finding the treasure, but then he turns around and leaves.
Yes.
People like equate this patch content of A Realm Reborn to that meme because it's like you're about to get to Heaven's Ward, which I did, and then you quit because you're so tired of playing the game because the quests are so freaking tedious.
I feel so fortunate because I hear people talking about this all the time. My experience couldn't be any more different. Like because I happen to have played FF14 with a group of friends. We were always logging in together. It was like a summer where we just spent the summer together playing this game, and it was amazing from the beginning to the end. So when Heaven's Sword kicked in, the quality jump was insane. It was. But I didn't feel like I played a tedious game to get there. But now, like, considering where Final Fantasy XIV has gotten to, I also, when I recommend it to people, I'm like, okay, A Realm Reborn is not indicative of the insane quality you get after. But personally, I still liked it, so I'm like, I feel very lucky personally.
I mean, I would say I liked A Realm Reborn. I like the base game. It's just this particular patch content that bridges you between the end of A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward.
Yeah.
And there's not that there wasn't good stuff. I mean, like the Leviathan fight was really good, and there's like the Ramu fight, which we'll probably get to here in a minute, was really good. Which is like the sylph's god. So like there's good stuff in there. There's just like it's really long. It's like dozens and dozens of hours that's just meant to bridge you between the end of one game and the beginning of the next game. And it's like, couldn't this have been like a 5 to 10 hour patch? Does it have to be like a 50-hour patch? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think they learn from there.
Yeah.
Next is on my list. I mean, there's a bunch, but I'm going to skip to the most important ones. Track 23, which is the Ramu.
Yes,
boss
this
battle.
one's awesome. I love this one.
I have a few notes about this.
I love the kind of Mongolian vocalist going on there. I don't know if you'd call that Mongolian or Bulgarian. It's something like that, but it's very Xenogears.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Very Xenogears. It's awesome.
I love stuff like that.
I ended up listening yesterday to a bunch of Mongolian and Bulgarian like classic music.
Yeah.
Because of this, I was kind of doing it with my wife, and I freaking love the music of those cultures. Like they're sort of like ancient cultures from those regions. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I those are two of my favorites. Wait, listen to the organ chords here for a second. From now. Okay, that's fine. You can stop it there for a second. Remember those organ. Remember that sound. I'm just gonna say this, and I think this is a detail that not a lot of people have caught up on. That organ passage somehow, I don't know if it's Soken's favorite. I don't know if it's someone's favorite. That specific passage will haunt you. It will reappear in places where you don't expect it, and it sounds insanely cool.
I can tell just listening to it, especially with the beat.
Yeah.
But that organ just kind of
sitting underneath,
hitting those interesting chords with the drums.
It will be used in that grunge theme later on. And also, like, this is the track that I mentioned before, where Soken's approach to sound is very interesting. So in this track, play it a bit longer and notice how he uses the hi-hats in a very like almost like a melodic instrument. There's so much detail in the hi-hats.
Yeah, the cymbal work is really nice.
Right?
And it's they're doing the pan, the left, right.
Yeah. You have one cymbal over here, one cymbal over here kind of thing in the stereo. It's really nice cymbal work.
It's
very
crazy.
Intricate.
Also, the harmonies are insane. Like, if you skip like at 4 minutes, 08 seconds, check out the harmony and the bass line as well.
I'm almost getting a little bit of a Nier vibe to this too.
Yes.
Like Nier Replicant, the original Nier. Yeah.
The best one.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, there's a band called Within Temptation. This is Within Temptation. This is the what is it? The Wolf. And anyways, I can't remember what the album was called 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This is straight up Within Temptation though. Really, really good band. Kind of like Nightwish.
Yeah, I was about to say,
band.
is that kind of in that Nightwish?
Yeah, epic.
Yeah, they're very famous.
Kind of
yeah.
Yeah, Within Temptation's huge now, but.
Yeah, there's something about there's something in the processing of the vocals there that reminds me of Nier. I don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Specifically.
I think in this case it's really like the tone of voice of the singer, which again I think is Akane Ikeya. I think it's just her voice is just like that good. Yeah. And also there's something sacred about this whole track. So maybe there's also that aspect to it.
Which makes sense like because it's like the god of the sylph people, right?
Yes, very good.
Yeah. So it's almost like ritualistic
This is so funny because this is not a track that I would have listened to and been like, all right, banger, let's move to the next one, like as I'm going to do in the checklist. But hearing you talk about it, especially you, Alex, talking about each different aspect of the music is like a small little masterpiece in and of itself that needed a lot of attention. And that once you look at all the different threads that make this all come together, it sounds so simple, but there's a lot more going on here than I would have thought upon first listen.
This is clearly a person who sat down and asked themselves, how can I give weight and make these people feel like the Pixies in this case? How can I make these people feel relevant? How can I make this entity, Ramu, feel, otherworldly? And what type of things can I do with the music that I haven't done with freaking 200 tracks I composed before this one?
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't this also the forest area that has that big temple in it where people like go to get married in the game? So
it might be that one, yeah.
So like there's a place where like players in the game will go and like marry each other's like avatars and they're like married in the game. But there's this really gorgeous like temple in this forest.
Nice.
So that sacredness that you're kind of speaking to, that this area is associated with that.
That's cool. Right? I didn't know that. That's
and
cool.
Ramu himself is just the way he talks to you and stuff. There's a different feel to this primal than maybe some of the others that are a little more maybe like primal, rage filled, a bit more. Ramu's wise.
Right.
And so you get like a wisdom and an ancient sort of feel to it that has a little bit more of that maybe like ancient religious ritual sort of feel to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, when you fight him, there's a sort of corruption going on almost, if I recall correctly. So that kind of fits the music. But imagine like writing music for a game that has so much material already before this track even has to be made. And you're like, okay, how can I make it sound unique? And you find a way. You're like, I'm going to use hi-hats as a melodic instrument. Like, okay. And again, it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to be able to do it and deliver like he does, so freaking masterpiece. Next track I want to talk about is track 30. And the reason why I want to talk about this track is because Soken asked me to, kind of. Not exactly, but I'll tell you why. So play it for a bit. Yeah.
I love that.
It's a nice jazzy version of the prelude.
Very like you're in a club. You're. Oh, this is fun. When I say club, I don't mean the modern clubs. You're in a nice, smooth, classy club.
That's exactly what it plays. That's exactly what it plays.
Good.
Yep.
So here's the melody from Torn from the Heavens.
Ah.
I love the jazz
like the very
guitar.
first battle thing we heard today.
Yeah, you're right.
So he was able to represent the historical relevance of Final Fantasy with the prelude and then represent Final Fantasy XIV with Torn from the Heavens. The reason why I said that Soken asked me to play this, he didn't really, but when I interviewed him, I asked him, hey, among all the different tracks that you've wrote for Final Fantasy XIV, is there one that you really loved that you wish got more love from the fans? And he mentioned this one. He's like, oh, I really like to do this like jazzy version of the prelude and Torn from the Heavens. I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's a banger. Next one, there's only 3 tracks left on my list. Next one is 32. This is another Crystal Tower theme.
Oh, yeah, FF3, totally.
Yeah.
I love that descending arpeggio there. It's so good.
Yeah.
The music of Final Fantasy III, I don't know what it is about it. It's definitely my favorite of the NES trilogy.
Really?
But it might even be my favorite of like up till the PlayStation era. I know people who FF6 fans are going to want to like crucify me for that. But I really like Final Fantasy III soundtrack a lot. It's just, it's so... Well, there's a lot of reference to wind or sort of like soaring or flying, and I like that feel a lot.
I think Final Fantasy III is the one that gets referenced the most in 14, and because of that, Eternal Wind became a fan favorite again after like so many years. I want to skip to 1 minute 27. There's a melody there. No. In this track, 1 minute 27. Yeah. Okay, you can just leave it on. There's a melody that kicks in. This one.
Oh, I feel like I know this.
This is cool.
This is from something, isn't it?
I'll tell you.
I swear this is so familiar. I feel like I know this.
I don't know it, but he's being very bold in letting this melody stand out front. This is kind of like how the old games in the 90s were composed.
Here's what happened. I think that melody specifically is a new one from Final Fantasy XIV. However, this was another like 10-year cook. They used it again in the future in other expansions, and when they reused it, they arranged it in a new track that ended up becoming possibly the number 2 most popular track in Final Fantasy XIV history. It's called A Long Fall, and that's maybe why you heard it.
Maybe I've heard it, out of the context of the game somewhere.
And it's the track that I played live with Soken and the band. That's
awesome.
Dude.
It has a whole choreography, so when people hear it, they start dancing. It's insane. But yeah, it's crazy to think of the fact that this banger of a track 10 years later was born here. And again, it was born at the edition of Final Fantasy III at the Crystal Tower. And I wonder if like there may be some people in the comments on this video who are like, oh my god, I didn't realize that's the same theme. And there's a reason before it, and I'm not going to tell you because of spoilers.
Okay.
They are cooking, dude. It's crazy.
We're gonna have to we're gonna have to make some plans around playing Final Fantasy XIV when we get to that, because that's not an easy game to play when you got a family and kids.
Right.
But I feel like you're gonna have to play it. So
I will, and hopefully it won't take me a whole year.
Wait until your kids are old enough and play with them.
Ooh, maybe. I started playing Chrono Trigger with my daughter. So.
Yeah.
How old are they?
My daughter's 9.
Wow.
So
that's a fantastic game to play at that age.
Exactly. This is like the perfect age for that.
Dude. Okay, last 2 tracks. Now, the next one is track 43. This is the boss theme for Shiva.
Oh,
it's called Oblivion.
This is a good one. Another one of those kind of grunge rock. I like the sound of this one though. This reminds me of.
This is Newfound Glory. This is like.
It kind of reminds me of bands I used to listen to. Yeah.
Green Day. Yeah, this feels like those.
My Chemical Romance, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like sang from the perspective of Shiva herself.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Shiva.
I remember this boss too. This is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the mechanics of the fight, I'm saying, are
Oh yeah.
pretty good.
And like what I love a lot about this theme is that, I mean, of course, the lyrics are great, the melody is fantastic. Lyrics by Koji Fox, by the way. But my favorite thing are the guitar chords.
Yeah, they're big.
These guitar chords are not obvious. I don't know what chords they are, but they're quite complex, right?
Yeah,
it sounds like
yeah.
either two guitars stacked together, or maybe one guitarist doing really like nifty chords with their hands.
There's like
that's one thing that Soken really
like a slight dissonance in it, like they're clashing or something, and you can't quite like make out like all the notes of the chord in it.
Yeah, it's freaking jazz, right? It's like one of those weird harmonies.
And this song's 8 minutes long.
Yeah, that's the unique Soken sound. You know, it's pretty cool. And that band I mentioned before that he told me about, Suspended Fourth, does stuff similar to this. Not exactly like this, but similar. So for anybody who wants more stuff like this, check out Suspended Fourth.
Well, nice. I know this is way in the future because we're on, like, Dawn Trail is the newest expansion. It just came out like last year or this year. I can't remember which. But didn't the guitarist of Rage Against the Machine do a song on that?
Oh yeah, he did.
He finally got to live his dream.
Morello?
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello, yeah.
Got to live his dream of doing a collaboration with Rage Against the Machine.
That's fun.
Yeah. Last track is track 61. It is called Primogenitor. Now this track plays when you're fighting, let's just say, a majestic and one of the oldest beings that you ever faced in this game so far. My favorite passage is at around 2 minutes 25, but you can just let it cook for a bit.
Yeah, we'll let it sit and then we'll move forward. This reminds me of a track from Oblivion that I really liked called...
Ooh.
It's something like Celestial something or other. Yeah. Love that piano. This feels very classic Final Fantasy to me, like the particular combination of instruments.
Like it feels almost like a waltz. Like waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And I think that like I don't know what you call that bell, but that's a
tubular bell.
Yeah, tubular bell. They use that a lot, or Uematsu used that a lot, particularly in FF7, but in a lot of his soundtracks.
Yeah. So this guy is basically like the first dragon who ever existed in the world in which 14 takes place. And it's gigantic, it's massive, it's wise and everything. And there's again that passage at 2 minutes 25, which I think is really freaking fantastic. But it's interesting to hear this sort of relaxed boss theme as you're fighting this amazing.
It actually reminds me a little bit of like if you've ever played Dark Souls, the final boss of Dark Souls.
Yeah, of course.
Has like
The
a
Gwyn,
really soft piano piece that plays.
Really?
It's like the last thing you would expect.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, here it comes 225 here.
Check out what comes after. It's like
In piano form, I get a little bit of a Dancing Mad vibe from that.
and this is just like a music telling you this being you're fighting is beyond your comprehension. You're just that small. Because throughout the entire game, we haven't heard like these crazy complicated piano passages, right? This is the first time that they occur. And yet another way in which Soken is like using sound and music to tell a story. You can tell a story through melody, of course, but you can just also do it through music techniques, instruments, all the stuff. So yeah, that's the last theme. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm curious, Casen, how curious I suppose you are of actually diving into Final Fantasy XIV after listening to all this music.
It's just the length is the only thing, but the music gets me. I wasn't expecting it to be this good.
Yeah.
Not because people haven't told me. Everyone tells me it's really good. But I just I prefer the older songs and whatever. This one took me completely by surprise. So unbelievably well done, and then especially. I mean, he had a year to write 100 tracks or whatever like that. How this goes, that's like a track every 2 or 3 days. It's at this quality, at this level, and of course he has his arrangers and all the other people who help who he collaborates with and who help him with the tracks. But still, it's a massive undertaking, and for it to be such high quality, and for it to be so Disney, but in a good way, Hollywood, but in a good way, also old Final Fantasy, but in a modern way, but in a good way. All the things that I would think, I don't know if this type of music can be done well anymore. Like the way that music has kind of trended in mass entertainment mediums is like away from the way it was in the 90s, away from Uematsu's melodic, super melodic stuff. The way that it is incorporated here in this game is just super masterfully done. And every track, I was like, these are bangers. And as I was leaving, I was talking to my wife briefly. She loves music like this, but I hadn't got a chance to show her any of these tracks yet. And she was like, oh, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, this soundtrack. She was like, oh, is it good? I'm like, you would love it. And she's probably listening to it when I'm not around. But I look forward to, just talking more about it for longer with more people. Yeah. Because it's so good. It doesn't fall into that trope of the, all big all the time or the, the way movie trailers are typically done now. It has such a unique flavor while also being just something that anyone can enjoy. It's like he bowled a strike. He knocked it out of the park. I really just can't believe it. As good as all the tracks are, this one really, truly surprised me.
Yeah. All the Final Fantasy XIV fans in the audience are like jumping out of their seats for you to listen to expansion music.
And I just can't see, in my brain, it's like there's no way an expansion is better than base game. Like there's no way. The budget isn't as, I'm talking myself.
It was bigger because FF14 Realm Reborn was such a success off the back of the failure of 1.0
That they put a lot of money
that
into.
they invested a ton into it, and it just kind of got bigger and bigger as it went.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not that I'm speaking from experience, but what I've heard.
So
they
say.
never lost
So
their
the
way.
legends.
Most especially, it's very easy when you get bigger to get tempted to chase goals that are flashy to your eyes as the creator, but maybe your audience is not gonna respond well to those. But they have never done that. Yes, there's been some expansions maybe hit a bit less, but it's still freaking good contextualized to what this game is. But yeah, dude, legitimately, Shadowbringers specifically and Heavensward are two of the best Final Fantasy games ever made. I think Shadowbringers is legit top 3, together with Final Fantasy 7 and 6 and those, or 9, whatever you prefer. But it gets better. The music also gets better. At the same time, some of the things we heard today are iconic to a level that doesn't get matched. But overall, the quality of the work just improves drastically, especially for the boss battle themes. You will hear a lot more genres, a lot more incredible melodies, lots of more fun ideas, and you hear the growth not only of Soken, but also Soken's assistant composers that will pop up from, I think, Heavensward onward, like the two, Daiki Ishikawa and Takefumi Imamura, as well as everybody else involved. So you just hear this world mature a lot. And the soundtracks of a game are always a reflection of the story of the game itself and the world of the game itself. You can be the best composer on earth. If you're working on a project that's shit, your music will suffer. If you're working on a project that's amazing, your music will multiply that, right? So if you love the soundtrack this much, you will love the story for sure. And the fact that the next expansions are even better can make you feel sure that the next tracks are even better. So yeah, it's been awesome to listen to this with you guys, and almost especially because Casen, you haven't played the game, so I'm I relived it through
I do want to. I don't know if I have the time, but I can possibly make the time if
it's
not
any
going
different.
Anywhere, right?
Yeah, it won't be any different than the time we make for whatever game we do deep dives on.
Okay,
right?
Estimate how many hours you think it'll take me to get through.
It depends on how you
14.
play it. If we were to take it kind of piece by piece, right? The main game, as far as I understand, is still the longest part. The expansions are not as long as
they're shorter.
The base game is.
Okay.
I would say the expansions, if you're just trying to get through story, are around 30 to 50 hours each. Whereas the main game might take you about 100 hours to get through.
Okay.
So, you have one, what we would consider massive sort of game, and then each of the expansions are a game in and of themselves in length. And I assume that when it comes time to cover that we would take one of those major hiatuses from a deep dive game, kind of like we're already doing for Chrono Trigger right now. And we would just do kind of different topics in between. But I don't know.
I do want to play the game.
We'll have to see
I really do.
how we approach it when it comes to it. But
one thing that needs to be said also is if you play Final Fantasy XIV and its expansions, for example, you play an expansion when it launches, it's a bit slower because when an expansion starts to get very old, everybody else in the server is super strong. So if you do dungeons with people who are very strong, they can be easier. Also, they tend to, for example, give you these items that you can buy, which are basically level boosts. So, for example, if you start playing Final Fantasy XIV today, you can buy it. You can get a level boost up to level, I don't know, fucking 70, 80, whatever. And what happens is you can go through the entire story without having to level up to unlock the next quest. Because the way it works usually is the main story needs you to be level 15 and you're level 12. You need to find a way to do those 3 levels to get to 15 so you can proceed the main story. But if you buy the game and you get the level boost and you're already level 50 or 60 or whatever, you can blitz through the main story without having to do any side quests. That said, there's loads of side quests that have interesting stories, and the game tells you which ones they are. So there's some side quests that are just there to make you level up, and some that are very important. If you just blitz through it by skipping levels like this, it becomes much shorter. So that I think there is a way to catch up. That said, it is a commitment. I think being a father is much more important than video games. So if you feel that will require too much time, don't do it. But Final Fantasy XIV is going nowhere, dude. You're going to be able to play still when your kids are in university.
So it'll probably be free to play by then, don't you think?
Well, I think that
Is it already?
The main game already is.
Oh, okay.
I think up to a certain level, you can do a free trial and get up through even a couple of the expansions, I think.
Oh, that's crazy.
So,
jeez.
Yeah, it's really good. And again, today I think I wouldn't say we scratched the surface, but there's loads of incredible tracks that we haven't had the time to play from A Realm Reborn itself. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I hope Soken watches this video.
We're so glad that you joined us for this. Hopefully we can do it again when I think my plan is that I'll play through Heaven's Ward and then we'll do music from Heaven's Ward. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but might be a little while. But we'd love to have you back again to discuss more FF14 music.
It was a pleasure and an absolute honor. And I also want to hear you guys' music.
Oh, sure. I'll send over some links to some of my poorly mixed stuff from 10, 20 years ago or whatever, before I knew how to do anything.
And I'll teach you how to play Those Who Fight Further on guitar. So I have a few videos out there.
Hell yeah, dude. Can't wait to check them out.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Alex. Thank you very much. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, guys. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.